Hello and welcome to episode 15 of The Audacious Dutchman. Really excited for this one. Unfortunately, I was so excited to sit down with Jane Auxilio that I forgot to hit record for the first 4 minutes of this episode. So you will notice that the first 4 minutes of the episode has been ripped from the YouTube Live. So I've downloaded the YouTube Live file, and unfortunately the internet was terrible. So the first 4 minutes of this interview are a little bit choppy. You can push through. It is legible. You'll be able to work out what we're saying. It's just a bit... you know what I mean? So it does suck. It's only 4 minutes. I worked it out pretty quickly. And on that note, if you'd like to come and work for me for free producing the show, and remember to do things like push a button, because I don't remember, you're more than welcome to send me an email and you can come and work for me for free producing the show. But no, I had Jane on. We talk about marketing. It's a really good episode. One of my favorite interviews I've done so far. So really looking forward to listening to it myself. Take care.
Welcome to the Audacious Dutchman.
So it's like Black Skinhead.
Love it.
From Kanye. You know that song? Yeah?
Love it.
Yeah. And it's just a bit of a hype up. But no, welcome. So we're at now, it's probably something like episode 16.
16?
And, yeah, 16.
That's a lot.
I know, right? And we've got Jane Auxilio on.
Hello, everybody. Andy,
So
thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So Jane's a pretty cool cat. Business. She runs her own marketing agency. Marketing is something that is near and dear to my heart. It's always my favorite element of anything I do, whether it be the podcast, whether it be business. So I'm really, really eager in talking to Jane. We are going to do that a little bit later. But what we're going to start off by, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you still running around with that guy with the sword? Do you remember the sword that you used to be mates with?
No, that's a way to break the ice, Andy. No, I'm no longer running around with Swordman.
Swordman. No, so I literally, like, you used to be mates with this guy, and I was like, how do I ask this question in a way? Because, like, I'm learning literally the first 30 seconds of your podcast need to be fire, and I was like, how can I ask this question in a way that makes it sound like you guys used to, like, break into shops together? You know what
Love
I mean?
that hook, Andy.
But,
No longer.
No longer. Have you
No.
heard from the Swordman?
I've not heard from the Swordman in
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
But let's just hope he's doing well.
He was into, like, he was in some yeah?
Yes.
Can you talk about this or not really?
Not really.
Not really? Okay, we won't talk about that then.
It's very heavy.
Yeah. How's business going?
Business is going great. A lot of growth, a lot of learning still.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about in business. Like, I feel like this year, but I feel like every year is like growth on growth and growth. Beginning of my business journey.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same?
Look, I really do. What I'm finding in my business at the moment is it's really easy to get from. So if you got it's interesting to say this. If you've got an entrepreneurial head, fuck, it's easy to go from 0 to 1. Don't you reckon? Like, starting from nothing and like digging in the dirt is easy because it's all about how hard you're willing to push you. And I think if you're an entrepreneur like you are and like it's easy to start. I mean, like, I'll just break myself. I don't really care. Whereas going from 1 to 2, meaning hiring staff, gearing up, getting more equipment, and, like, having to get all that work, there are inherent challenges in that because when you go from 0 to 1, you're happy to not earn enough money for customers. You're happy to use shit tools. You hire a staff member. And fair enough too, they want good tools because, like, my line of work as a gardener, you don't want a staff member that has, like, using a shit mower because they could hurt them, and I'm sure there's stuff like that. Like, you don't, like, your staff members probably don't want to be using a crap slow laptop. They probably want the best laptop. Yeah.
An application, everything used to, I guess, perform the service.
Absolutely.
That your business and all that, so
absolutely
you want the best for your stuff anyway.
100%. But that's what I'm finding at the moment is going from 1 to 2 is a different thing.
It's a different gear, isn't it?
It's very, very
It's
different.
I feel like 0 to 1 is like sole trader. And you do it by yourself. Everything is dependent on you. So
Absolutely.
kind of like you have your own team. You have to think about being extra August.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they're not as productive.
Correct.
Do you find that?
Absolutely. Most definitely.
And you're like wasting your resources if you don't have your shit together, basically.
100%. Now, I know that you migrated from the Philippines.
Yes.
But I actually do not know anything about the
You
story.
don't know my story?
I do not know
Oh,
your
I guess I
story.
haven't really spoken much about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to, but I don't know. Are people interested in hearing about like
Absolutely.
the humble beginnings?
Yeah, for sure. How old were you when you came over?
I came to Australia, I think I was 9 or 8. I would have been in like grade 3
Ooh,
or
that's
4.
an interesting age, because if you were 4 or 5, you wouldn't have known home and you wouldn't
No.
have felt the culture shock. And coming over at that point, and that's a pivotal time as well. Like, you're going in, like, you're pre-adolescent at that point. So, like, you're becoming aware of
God.
culture. You're like, oh, that's an interesting... I'm, like, really eager now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I came here when I was 9. My brother was 10. My dad was actually here a couple of years before us. So he did his PhD as a scholarship.
Fuck off. That's cool.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
What does your dad do?
so back then he was studying chemistry.
Yeah.
So he did like chemical engineering, some nerdy stuff like that. I'm the complete opposite.
Wow.
So he was here a couple years. So my mum, my brother, and I were back in the Philippines on our own for many, many years. Why are you shaking?
Farnell ruined my arm. Like, literally, I had deep tissue work today.
You're like,
And I'm like, am I an alcoholic? And I'm like, no, like, this guy just, like, destroyed my arm this afternoon. Anyway, Philippines.
yes. So I came here and I just remember that time of my life to be so difficult.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. I think the feelings that I felt mainly coming here was just so lonely. Like, as a child feeling that way, because I had such a beautiful childhood in the Philippines, and like all my family, all my cousins, I have such a huge family, like huge family. On my dad's side, I probably have like up to like 40 cousins. My mum's side, even more.
Whoa.
So you can imagine how everything was so loud and so crazy
Yeah.
and like just so much fun growing up.
Yeah.
And in the Philippines, I used to hang out and play with my childhood friends, basically, like the friends in my neighborhood, and we would play like every afternoon outside. And yeah, that was like up until we had to move to Australia, and then moved to Australia and it's so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's so quiet. Like all the Filipinos or everyone from like a Southeast Asian country will probably understand like how loud it is over there. But yeah, I felt that a lot, and like we didn't know anyone here, obviously, except for each other, like
That would
my
have been hard.
immediate family.
Mm.
So that was hard, and then I went to school, and obviously that was a lot of like culture shock as well.
I bet.
Yeah, there was a huge culture shock. And also I didn't really like we learned how to speak English in the Philippines, but it's different to like having to speak it every single day suddenly. So that was
Yeah, true. Now, my dad always talks about this. So he has Dutch parents, yeah? So they would talk a little bit of Dutch around the house. And he talks about you start to... His first language was English.
Okay.
Immigrant parents, but his first language was English.
Okay.
And he would talk Dutch, I don't know. From the stories he's told me, it feels like 30% of the time.
Okay.
So he said to me, you start to think Dutch. Mm-hmm. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah. Did you find that?
When I came to Australia, I was definitely thinking in like Filipino, we call it. My dialect was Bisaya. So in the Philippines, we had Tagalog, which is the national dialect, but I spoke Bisaya. So when I came to Australia, I definitely was thinking in Bisaya, but I was speaking English. Now, I think in English.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And when was the last time you went to the Philippines?
Last time I went to the Philippines was over a year ago now. October last year.
And when you were there, were you thinking in English and respond? Like, did you have to translate? Or were you like straight away?
I was thinking in English, and I think the first week I was there, I struggled to speak. I'm fluent, right? Because I speak it with my family. Although I don't see my family like every single day. And I do speak in English with them quite a lot as well. But it's a different like caliber.
So like Christmas is like in Philippines. In what did you say it was?
Bisaya.
Bisaya.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we speak mainly Bisaya, but we speak a lot of English as well.
Well, so it's a bit like Spanglish.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow. Do you know what Spanglish is? It's half Spanish, half English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We say it Taglish in Filipino, but
So
that's
Taglish.
Tagalog, not
Yeah.
Bisaya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Basangish. Basangish.
What? Bisang.
Basangish.
Bis.
Bisaya. English.
Bisay. Bisylish.
Basingish.
Bisylish. Bisylish.
Basylish.
Bisylish.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish.
Chaos.
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 Yeah. No, that was when last time went to the Philippines. I struggled the first week, just like communicating. I could feel myself being like shy or being perceived as shy or awkward because there was a bit of like communication.
Wow. Did you feel like an alien?
A little bit.
Whoa.
But then I like the second week, I was full on just like Bisaya. Like
right.
nothing's ever changed. Even my friends were like,
Beside yourself.
my friends were like, wow, you speak Bisaya so well. I was like, I am Bisaya.
I am Bisaya.
So that's good. I wish I could speak my native language a bit more.
Say something now. Like say, hello and welcome to the podcast. Oh, podcast might be a tough one. That might not translate.
I don't know because a lot of the stuff that we say is just like in English though.
Yeah.
Like we say the words, but then it just turns up to be like
What if you said like,
Bisaya.
hello, my name is Jay.
Bisylish. No,
Hello,
I'm not
my name is
saying
Jay.
that. I'm shy. You say it in Dutch.
Fuck, I don't think I can. I don't speak that much, but it's called the Audacious Dutchman. But
Exactly.
I can say some stuff. What can I say? Lopen naar de klote. So lopen naar de klote basically means up shit creek without a paddle. But the way that it translates, it directly translates into walking near the testicles.
I love that.
It doesn't translate very well. And then the way that you ask someone, what do you do for a job, is wat do you do for a fuck? Yeah, that's...
Really?
Yeah, literally.
That's Dutch.
That's Dutch. Yeah.
No, you're trolling.
No, legit. My old will be like, what do you do for a fuck? Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Language is so crazy.
I know, right? Isn't it? There's some other ones as well. There's... No, I think I might be out.
That's okay.
I think I might
That's
be out.
okay. We can leave it at that.
But there you go. I can speak some Dutch, which is good given the name of the show.
Yeah. Good job, Andy. You've lived up to
You've got to
the...
give me some Bisaya now. I'm disappointed.
Okay,
Come on.
nata din his podcast ni Andy.
Wow.
Wow, I feel like
And what did you
I
say?
literally just said, okay, today we're here in Andy's podcast.
There you go.
Yeah, it's very like a strong dialect.
But
It's
I
kind
could
of like the
understand
Russian
bits
of
it.
like... What? Oh, yeah, because you understand the English. Do you know how... Do you understand what I mean by like we inject a lot of like English words in it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's... Or maybe that's just like my lack of knowledge in the language that I have to inject some English into it.
Do you reckon Filipino culture is quite heavily like influenced by Western culture? Like whether it's US or whether it's English or like do they watch like a lot of like do they get their entertainment from there?
Yeah, a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Entertainment and pop culture are definitely very influenced by the Western culture, but I would say values and like other deeper things like work ethic and just family tradition and stuff like that is so different.
That's probably for the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Aussie work culture.
Yeah.
12 o'clock in the day. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. A guy asked me, he said that to me yesterday. So I'm working on this guy's garden and it's 3:30. He comes home. I said, oh, you're home early. And he goes, yeah, I guess so. And he reaches in the console and goes, want a beer? It'll be 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh my word.
Worst bit is I took it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So big families.
Huge
Big
families.
Are there many families that add up to many people, or are there like 3 families that just bred?
No. Like my dad's side, 7 siblings.
So your dad has 7 siblings.
My dad's the youngest out of 8 or 7, I believe. And each sibling is like, has between 2 to 5 kids. So I have a lot of cousins.
Wow.
I have a lot of cousins, and my dad's side, we're all very close.
Yep.
because my mum's side, they lived a little bit further from where we lived. So it would be like all the family gatherings, birthdays, Christmas, all of that would be mainly celebrated with dad's side.
Yeah.
And then once a year, we would go visit the province, which is like 3 hours away, 3-hour bus ride away.
What is the province? Is that
Province
the
is
city?
like rural area of the Philippines. So we lived in kind of I came from Cagayan de Oro City, and my mum's family would be like up in the mountains, basically.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
So, when you say city, is it like Clyde North? Or is it like, what's it like?
Oh, okay. If you want a comparison, like Cagayan would be like the Melbourne Metro, and then my
I'm gonna
mum.
Google it. How do you spell it?
Cagayan, Cagay. There you go, Cagayan de Oro. Mindanao, Philippines. Like, let's get the maps up.
The old maps, eh?
So,
Where is it? Is that it there?
so we're there. We're around there, and
Okay.
then my mum's. Maybe we can do directions. My mum's was like, what do you call it? Far out. Let's just type in Valencia, which is VALE. Yeah, there you go, Bukidnon. That's it. Close to there. So it'd be like a 4-hour
How often are you doing
trek
this?
once a year. Once a
Once
year or once every 2 years.
Yeah, okay, alright. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, we go to Lakes Entrance probably once a year or once every 2
Yeah.
years. And I'm like, if you were
It's-
saying, like, oh yeah, that's where we go to church every Sunday, I'd be like, fuck that.
No.
Yeah.
So that was the trek. I love my cousins from my mum's side, but I don't think we're as close as the cousins from my dad's side.
Sure. Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, okay. And,
Yeah.
like, what's the terrain like? Is that, like, disaster town, or is it, like, a freeway?
The first, like, getting out of the city is so, like, windy.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is just, like,
But is it, like-
forest and, like...
Is it made roads? Is that a...
It's main roads
Is that a,
most
like
of the
a
time.
inappropriate question to ask? Like, I do not
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah,
anything
yeah.
about the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, like, main roads,
Yeah,
but it's
okay.
very...
Yeah,
it's
cool.
a third world country, you know, and, like, you see a lot of poverty.
That's what I mean.
All day,
like,
every day.
I've seen episodes of Top Gear where they, like, literally go to Africa and do, like, treks across Africa, and it's like dirt roads and mud everywhere, and like it's a disaster.
Like, see, that looks nice.
Looks great.
It doesn't look that like that.
It looks like that's somewhere you could go and have an experience.
Yeah, I can probably
what I mean?
show you a bit later on some
Yeah.
more
Lindsay would
realistic.
Lindsay would take her Polaroid, and she'd go there, and she'd find herself, and she'd
Where
come back,
even
and
is that?
she'd be right over Nathan straight away. Like she'd have had an experience.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Mhm. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, see, there you go. Like, those streets are a bit more.
These, yeah,
Yeah, like, that's kind of the vibe.
yeah, okay,
Yeah. It's very just, like, loud and dirty.
yep.
Like, I don't mean that in a bad way. That's literally just the reality.
Good food.
Oh, delicious food.
Yeah?
Not
Yeah.
very healthy.
That's all right.
But
Have you
so
Have you
delicious.
been to McDonald's? Like Western
So
food's not
delicious.
healthy.
Yeah, oh my god,
Yeah.
chicken nuggets.
Oh,
Oh, how
yeah.
good would chicken nuggets and some sweet and sour sauce be right now?
Sweet and sour. I'm a big
And
fan
barbecue.
of the Big Mac sauce.
Big Mac sauce.
Yeah, man.
I've never had it with
Oh.
just Big Mac sauce
Yeah,
and
no.
nuggies.
Yep, I am a big fan.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done that before on this show. How much McDonald's? No. We've talked about how much McDonald's I used to eat. It was chaotic.
Okay, hold that thought.
Yeah.
What was your Macca's order? What is your Macca's
Oh,
order?
Now, I would just get like a large double quarter pounder now, and I just keep it simple there. But Fat Andy, and I'm really sorry for the listeners because like we've done this like almost every episode for the last 5 episodes. We've gone over this, so
What, your Macca's order?
yeah, man. So,
Really?
yeah, I was fat. Do you remember how big
Wait,
I
how
used
long
to be?
was this ago?
When you met me? No,
No,
I
you
wasn't
went
too
that.
bad.
You went big then.
Oh, I'll show you a photo. But
Maybe I can't remember. I suppressed a lot of memories from
Yeah,
that
yeah.
era of my life.
I used to eat. So I used to starve myself all day long. Come home, have 5 beers, and then order
5 beers.
And about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, I was just drunk enough that I'd be like, "It's Maggie's time," and I'd order.
Were you with Mon already?
I was with Mon. Mon didn't know this was going on.
Mon didn't know this was...
I'm looking forward to the laugh.
Oh my god.
Huge.
such a difference.
Yeah. I showed.
Wait, had we met already?
Yeah.
Were you
Yeah,
regular customer at
I'd
Little
been
by
with
Little?
Mon for 2 years.
You had been with Mon for 2 years already?
Yeah.
I don't remember
showed
this.
Xanthia this, and she's like, "Oh my god, are you wearing a fat suit?" Yeah, huge, huge. So, no, I'd literally order a large double quarter pounder meal, a medium Big Mac meal,
Yeah.
and 24 nuggets, and I'd just sit there and I just put them away.
Okay.
Because I had nothing
Do you
going
want to
on.
know what my order was?
Yeah, please.
Very
tell me.
similar.
Yeah.
So I'd order a large quarter
Yeah, but you
pounder
didn't
meal
look like that. You
with
can eat whatever the
Fanta.
fuck you want.
No, I was a little bit chubbier back then.
Yeah, I weighed 120 kilos. I've never seen you weighing 120 kilos.
No, I didn't get to that stage.
No.
Large quarter pounder meal, 12 nuggies with both sweet and sour and barbecue sauce. And then I would order either a McFlurry or an apple pie.
How good are the McFlurries?
The Oreo ones.
Yeah. Oof, me too.
Yes.
Have you seen the new double choc soft serve they do now?
No.
So you can now get chocolate soft serve, and I've been holding out for months. I think I'm on the cusp of ordering. Do
Yeah.
you want some more?
A little bit, please.
But you can get like chocolate soft serve with an Oreo McFlurry.
No.
Yeah, so
That's
I think
dangerous.
Oh, I know, right? It is really, really dangerous.
I haven't had Macca's in months, so I think it's time.
Man, I had it this week. I mean, Mon, I didn't have it this week. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you that later.
No, actually, I
Oh
told
wait,
her.
it's live,
No,
so she's
yeah,
probably watching.
She's watching it.
She's like,
yeah.
"Hi, Mon."
Yeah. No, I told her I had a McMuffin.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
alright.
it was that. You know the rainy day this week. I had 15 mows in one day. 15 mows scheduled. Which
Hold
is a
on,
huge
15?
15.
What's your capacity in one day?
The answer's 11 hours. The answer's
11 hours.
7 o'clock in the
Physical
morning.
work.
7 o'clock in the morning until 6. But it's like anything. Like, once you build up a tolerance, it's like nothing.
Yeah, true,
you know what I mean?
true.
And there's like gaps in between. It's not 11 hours of pushing a mower.
Yeah.
There's 20 minutes of driving. So there's a 20-minute break.
Gotcha.
Actually, no, they're all around Frankston. So it's not... Anyway, it was a big day of mows, and I had 3 cancel because it was just pissing down with rain.
Yeah,
which is fair enough. And in that gap, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm getting a McMuffin.
Love that for you.
Yeah. Hey, before I forget, I need you to do something for me.
What?
I need you to sign the desk. There's a pen there. I need you to sign the desk. One day, this show is going to be fucking huge, and I'm going to sell this table for $1 million.
Mate,
Just sign anywhere you like and date it.
We'll just watch this podcast episode in 10 years' time and see, like, what we've achieved.
100%.
10 years is a fucking long time.
It certainly is.
What's the date today? 2nd?
2nd of December.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it. I want this table caked in signatures.
Nice.
And I can't wait to like one day have like a favorite signature. You know what I mean? Like I'd love to get like a big get. Who would a big get if you had a podcast? Who do you look up to? Who's a big get for your podcast?
Oh, who do I look up to?
Big question, isn't it?
That's a huge loaded question, Andy.
I'll tell you what, I'll answer.
Okay.
No, unless you have an answer already.
Well, one day, which I will do, I will have a podcast. I've been talking about this for 2 years. I did attempt to start a podcast, but,
Yeah.
you know, that will be pushed back a little bit. Probably next year, to be honest. I'll start it next year. I need your help setting it up.
Yeah, for sure.
But I want all of my clients to participate in my podcast because I admire them so much. And they're a lot more experienced in business than I am. They're probably like 10, 15 years ahead. So I would just love to like pick their brains, and because we're all so aligned business. Like we always, I don't see them that often, but when I do, we have such incredible chats. It's so inspiring, empowering. And so I like want to share that with the world.
I was thinking about this today. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this today, and you're probably very similar. So I'm 26. I think you're 1 year older than me.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah.
I just turned 27.
Yeah. So how interesting, do you have much contact with people that are your age? Or is like 90% of the conversations you have with 40 and 45-year-olds? Like business, or like 35-year-olds?
I used to only have friends from like 30, 35, and like I would consider my clients to be like solid friends.
That's great.
Not like solid friends, but like my clients will often show me more support than my close friends would.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. But now I feel like I have a really good community of friends who are similar age to me.
Yeah.
A couple of them a bit younger, like your age, or maybe a year younger.
Yep.
And everyone's kind of the same wavelength where we're all a bit business-minded. They're all just starting their businesses or want to start their businesses. A couple of them have started their businesses. So it's really cool to have found this like group of people that I get on with in that business sense, but also a friendship sense.
That's really cool.
What about you?
So I find it, I've never had, so I have friends, so I didn't go to uni. Yeah.
And I thought you did.
For 10 minutes. Like I did.
Me too.
Yeah, 6 months of architecture.
High school dropouts.
What did you do? Uni
dropouts.
What did you do?
I studied business.
How did that go for you? Were you like, I know this. That's okay. I don't need to learn business.
No. All of that stuff I needed to know.
Oh, okay.
But the thing that I didn't know was that I didn't know that it was... I probably shouldn't have worked full-time hours and sign up to full-time uni. See, I didn't have guidance. My parents didn't go to uni here. Okay, they did tell me, you can't work full-time and go to uni full-time. But to me, it was just like, because I had taken a gap year. Did you take a gap year?
No.
Okay, well, I took a gap year, and in my gap year, I was working full-time. So I was used to, like, earning X amount of money.
Yeah.
You know, and then going into uni, I was
that's
like...
what happened to me.
Yeah, I was like...
Oh, no, I did take a gap year to work and never went back to uni.
Yes.
Yeah.
Similar, but I went to uni for, like, a semester, and then I kept failing. I failed, like, accounting and finance.
Yeah, right. They're fucking terrible. Who wants to go to school and like learn how to use a spreadsheet?
Yes,
dreadful.
and like I was actively learning. I was managing at that time. I was managing 2 hospitality venues, and back then, my dream was like to own my own cafe.
Yeah,
so I was like, do you remember that?
I do.
Do you remember
still
that?
Want to?
No, we'll
No.
talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I was actively learning. I was a manager, so I was actively learning like the operation side of running a cafe at 2 businesses. So when I sat at uni listening to classes and learning about the global financial crisis, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I could be making money right now.
Man, I'm exactly the same. I do not flourish in a classroom
It
environment.
was so stagnating.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah. Yeah.
Stagnating.
I know what you mean.
I felt just so like, I don't know. It's not for me.
It's not real, is it?
It's not real.
Yeah. Do you want to know? Like, you could sit me down and you could be like, hey, if you fall down this set of stairs, you're gonna get like a bruised ass, bruised legs. You might like break a nose, and I'll be like, I don't believe you. I need to fall down the stairs. And then, like, once I fall down the stairs, I'll be like, oh, yeah, like, I get it. Like, let's go to the hospital now. You know what I mean? Like, I need to fall down the stairs and be like, oh, yeah, I have a broken nose.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't do that again.
Yeah.
I don't know this for sure, but, like, I would definitely have been that kid when I was, like, 4. Mum's like, don't touch the stove. I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna touch the stove. Oh, fuck, that's hot. Why didn't you tell me? And that's always me. I'd be like, why didn't you tell me? Ask my wife. Yeah, I told you. Yeah. But no, I do not play nice in a classroom, and I really admire the way that you've gone about it, because I know a lot of people who start a business and they're like, all right, step 1, I'm going to get my MBA. I'm going to like go to business school. And like, I know so many people.
I went to business school. Woohoo! Monash Uni representation. I even have the hoodie.
100%.
That's all that matters.
100%. But I almost admire people more who don't, like, you run a business. Like, how much of it is textbook and how much of it is like, it's about like your brain and yeah,
personality, personal branding, ability to connect with people, whether that be your clients or, you know, people in your team or just your community in general, like in the industry. That's so much more important than like, bro, we hire accountants and financial advisors for a reason.
100%.
And you don't even want to be doing that in your business. You want to be doing the important stuff, like growing and developing your business, and delegate the rest of it.
The scariest thing about a business school is they don't teach you how to sell anything. At no point are you like taught how to sell anything, which means you come out and in like step 1, all right, okay, so I've done business school. I'm going to start my own business now. Oh, I don't know how to sell. Like literally,
That's
the thing
the
that gets
most
you from
important
0 to 1.
part.
The thing that gets you from 0 to 1 is your ability to sell something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that I'm still learning now.
No, I disagree with you. I think you're a great salesperson.
What?
Because all sales is looking after your customer and making them feel good. There are tricks like making them feel like they're going to miss out and stuff. Like, there are tricks, sure. But, like, the root of sales is, like, looking after your customer.
Yeah, for sure.
And
And their emotional needs.
And for sure. And making them feel like it's the right time to make the purchasing decision. Which, like, do you have clients?
Yes.
You can sell. You know what I mean? But like fucking Lenny from the business degree, he's fucked. Like, because he's come out and he's like, well, I know how to use a spreadsheet. I have all my formulas. Look at my formulas. And your formulas are not going to mean dick. You know what means dick? Like knowing how to run a cafe like you did.
Yeah.
And knowing how to like manage staff like you did. Like Mon
True.
used to rave hardcore about like Jane's such a good boss. I'd work for Jane all the time. 100%. Like you learn.
How long ago was that?
It was a while ago. She might have changed her mind. Now I'm kidding.
Well, Mon is still part of the Blanc Studio team,
Yeah.
so...
But like I think I genuinely believe. And look, there are exceptions. There are people who go to like business school. Like Zuckerberg went to business school. So how
did he?
how dare
Did he
I
complete, or was he a dropout
I
like
think
us?
he completed. So like how dare I say like you can't, like if you go to business school you're a failure.
I don't actually disagree with like higher education. Like,
Yeah, me
go
too.
off, sis. Like, do what you need to do.
It's
Not for
pretty
me
expensive though. too.
Like, I'm.
Like it's really expensive, and like, do you come out of a business degree with $70,000 in debt?
I find that so crazy.
Could you have just got a $70,000 loan and started a business?
Yes.
Would you be better off?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
It's so much easier to like. What's that quote where it's like, it's so much easier to make 20K than save for 20K.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I've found that so true since starting like my business journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like this like saving mentality. Like, I'm not a saver.
I was having this conversation with my dad the other day. We were talking about a ride-on mower, and I was like, all right, Dad, ride-on mower's $14,000. For me to save...
What is that? Like
a
the
ride-on mower. It's like the mowers...
like an ATV, but at most.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll show you. Because there might be some people... what are they called? Mower. Might be some people who are like, what the fuck is a lawnmower? Like, it's just literally...
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's fun.
it's like this, yeah?
How fast do they go?
Like probably like 20, 30. Like not that fast, but like this is how you
That's
get your
so
business.
fun.
This is how you get your business to like the next level. Like
Yeah.
when you start investing in machines like this, and for a child like me, it's so exciting to
that.
buy machines,
You always love your machinery,
cars
yeah.
and shit. I never used to be into machines so much. I liked cars, like the MX-5, and like
Yeah.
I remember very distinctly getting offered a job, and they were like, "We're gonna pay you $250,000 a year," and I said to Mon, "I can buy a Porsche." That's the first thing I said.
Oh my
It's like, I can buy a Porsche. And she's like, you're a dickhead. But like, for a child, it's all about the machines. Fuck. Yeah, $14,000 for that. Yeah. I was like, okay, so for me to save $14,000, it'll take this many weeks, or I could just go and get some debt. And in that, so I think we worked out, at the rate the business makes money, if I put all the savings aside, it'd take like 3 months for me to save up that $14,000.
Okay, yeah.
With not just with saving because you don't want to save everything and then you know what I mean. You want to save half.
Yeah.
So we worked out it would take about 3 months for me to save that, and then I've missed out on 3 months of being able to acquire those customers and make that money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the fucking debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pay interest, but like do the math on what you missed out on in
Yeah.
that time with those jobs. So I'll give you a really classic example. I do a job. I do 4 jobs that really should be ride-on mower jobs. And
Okay.
I'm doing them with a push mower. It's
Fuck.
taking me 2.5 hours.
Instead of
Half an hour. You get me?
yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I could be doing. So it's a $370 mow. It takes me 2.5 hours. I could be getting it done in half an hour, and I could do all of those all together, and I could earn $1,000 in the 2.5 hours.
Yeah, shit.
Maybe even less. Like literally $1,000 in no, because there's travel. It'd be 2.5 hours, $1,000. But at the moment, I'm earning $370. It's like Go get the fucking
Get
debt.
get your
the
mower.
Debt. Get the debt. Like, debt's okay.
This podcast is me convincing you to get your mower.
Yeah. Oh, man. Don't even get me started. John last week convinced me to buy a new truck.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There's a couple of things.
Everyone comes on my podcast and like, spend more of your money, Andrew. Everyone's this fucking devil on my shoulder. But, no, it's so true. Like, and you've read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where he talks about...
First book that changed my life,
yeah,
to be
100%.
honest.
And he talks about, like, having... Oh, man, there was a lesson in it, and I now cannot remember, but it was something along the lines of, like...
OTM, other people's money.
Yeah.
OPM, other people's
other
money.
people's money, yeah.
I need to capitalize on that. I still don't have much experience in, like, using other people's money.
Yeah.
Like, everything I've done to this day is just self-funded, basically.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Bootstrapping's good. I bootstrap for the most part. I've got, obviously, car loans.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I had $65,000 to buy a ute. No, that didn't exist. No, and that would be, like, literally the worst way to spend $65,000.
Do you use your business to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I got, I've got one loan that I got. So I started the business in Queensland and I was using Dad's tools.
Okay.
And then when we decided to move back here, I was like, all right.
You need to invest your
I need to do this. I need to spend about 15 grand.
15 grand? Is that how much capital you needed to...
A trailer's 3 grand. A mower's $1,000. A couple of chainsaws, whippersnippers, 3 grand. Some other bits and pieces. And I had probably a month where I wasn't going to earn enough money to cover myself. So I went, to start this business, I need 15 grand. So I got a loan through a company called Prosper.
Okay.
And they charge you a lot of fucking interest. However...
Like how much interest?
It's 20% per annum. So over 18 months, 30%. So my $15,000 loan is 22 grand.
Fuck.
But...
What?
The business makes $3,000 to $5,000 a week. $3,000 on a... Now. So like... And yeah, I'm still paying that loan off because it hasn't been 18 months since I got it. But, like, did I see dividends from that 15 grand? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would I be up shit creek without a paddle? Yeah.
Yeah.
The business wouldn't have existed.
Yeah,
so, like, did I get ROI on that? Absolutely I did.
Yeah.
It is a high interest loan. The reason was, at the time, the way I was running the business was dodgy. Not dodgy, but, like, I wasn't registered for GST. It was a new business. It was 5 months old.
Okay.
It was all on the books, no cash.
Were you a company or were you a sole trader?
Sole trader.
Okay.
Yeah. And I wasn't registered for GST. And I had...
But were you making enough for GST? Okay.
No. Oh, I was making like $2,000 a week.
Okay.
On a good week. Like, I was not making very much. I made just enough money to pay us $1,500, which was okay because I was using Dad's tools.
Yeah.
Which was great. Like, I had it was just a cash.
1,500.
1,500.
1,500 in profit or just revenue?
I could pay us $1,500 a week, so it would have been $1,800 because $300 for petrol and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the costs were not that high because I was using Dad's tools.
Yeah. Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. So I'd get them serviced every 3 months. It cost me $90. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, not that much.
Okay, so your operational costs is not really that.
They are now.
Why?
They are now. Well,
talk me through that.
Well, so every time I do, so the way I'm gonna run it is I'm gonna have teams of 2. The reason I like teams of 2 is I've worked out that teams of 2 are 2.5%, 2.5 times more efficient than teams of 1.
Right.
So, and they tool share. So if I had one person going on site, they'd need a ute, a trailer, whippersnipper, and a mower, and a blower. Whereas if I have teams of 2, they get it done 2.5 times quicker, 2.5 times.
Yeah, true.
So it's already more efficient.
Right.
Yeah. And they'd one ute. So I'm already 65. It's actually now $75,000 more cost effective.
Yeah.
So that's better. Like, let's stop the conversation there.
Yeah.
But even then, like, while you're mowing, Someone else is whippersnipping and blowing.
Okay.
You
We
get me?
love efficiency talk.
Yeah.
Someone who has come from like a hospitality background, efficiency is so important
Yeah.
for all business owners out there.
Mhm.
I love efficiency.
Gardening's so funny. So I used to not piss on gardening, but I used to think it was like, oh, if real estate doesn't work out, I'll just do gardening. 'cause
Wait,
it's
does your
so
podcast
easy.
know
Yeah.
your background?
Yeah. So I used to
Okay.
be. You're live as well, so we can fill it out. Like
True.
I did real estate for 8 years. The
That
last
was
2
when
years.
I first met you. You were fully into real estate and
Yeah.
did you do a bit of property development?
I did a development with my dad, and when I say I did a development with my dad did a development, and I did it with him.
Right.
And at the end, so I put no money in, but I put all my time in, and at the end, I got a bit of a profit share.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
That's
it was
a
so good.
Different
And
kind of
And it
structural.
really helped me
yeah.
out at the time. I think they paid me something like $15,000, which was
For the project?
so good. I mean, it was 2.5 years work,
Yeah, okay.
but man, like
But were you doing your other work
$15,000
as well in the meantime?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I was working for someone else.
Yeah, okay.
But it was a great cash injection at the time, and because Dad paid me, it was a gift. You don't have to pay tax on it.
Yeah, that's true.
So that $15,000 actually acted like $22,500.
Yeah, we love
We love that
business-oriented parents.
for sure. Well, Dad's an accountant, which is why I didn't have to go to business school. Because
You were taught.
to your point, and I've really been thinking about how lucky I am. The fact that Dad's an
You're
accountant.
so lucky. Or just
Because-
in general that your parents are so business-minded. Your dad especially, right?
Dad definitely.
Yeah.
Mum's not business minded.
Okay.
Mum's a beautiful person. Wouldn't know a business
Yeah.
apart from a cereal
Yeah.
packet. Sorry, Mum. But it's true. And that's not a knock. It's just like you're not a
Yeah.
business. You've never done business.
Yeah.
But I'm so lucky. Like I call my dad daily, and I'd be like, "What do you reckon?" Like,
Really?
yeah. Oh man,
Wow.
I sent him an employment. He's on our Slack channel.
Okay.
You know what Slack is, yeah?
Yeah, that's the system that...
Yeah, he's on our Slack channel, and I have an accounting channel with him, and I literally just, like, the other day I sent him an employment contract for an employee that
Yeah.
I sort of ripped from WorkSafe or something and modified to include an IP clause and a
Yes.
non-compete
We love
clause.
contracts. Oh, yeah.
So IP meaning, like, you can't steal my intellectual property. Like, if I have, like, all these ideas, you can't steal them. And a non-compete clause. So, like, if you leave the business, you can't, like, go and just steal all my clients.
yes.
And I sent it to him to review
Yeah.
because he's, like, he's not a lawyer. And he said to me, like, well, I'm probably not the person for this. And then he sent me a whole bunch of notes back.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But, like, he ran an accounting practice called Illuminate on the peninsula for 20 years.
20 years.
One of the early adopters of Xero, Illuminate.
Really?
Illuminate sort of championed Xero.
That's incredible.
Yeah, like it's a significant firm. They're actually a really cool firm. So Dad got out of that firm and sold it to his partner. But they're so Dad.
Wait, are they still around?
Oh yeah, they're huge now. Dad took it to a point and then sold it to his partner, and then the partner really took it and commercialized it.
Wow, that's
Um,
incredible.
But it's a really fascinating business. I reckon you'll like it. They would link up with you guys. Like, this is their logo. Like, they sort of trying to make accounting cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're...
Accounting is not cool.
It's not, but...
It's not cool.
But, like,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm
they're-
glad
look
that
at
they're
their whole-
changing the...
Look at their whole vibe. Like,
I like it.
I think Andrew... I've done one social media thing with Andrew once before.
What? What'd you do?
Way back in the day, I did wine and house talk.
Okay.
Which was my
That's cute,
first
yeah.
ever thing. And what I'd do is, like, I'd literally talk to someone about real estate.
Yeah.
And we'd have a glass of wine.
That's fun.
Yeah. And that was, like, when I was 19. It was the first thing I ever did.
My God, we were so
And he was on
young.
episode 2. But I think he's a bit of a marketing genius.
Is this your dad's old business partner?
Yeah,
The one
yeah,
that he
yeah.
sold it to?
Yeah. But when Dad was doing it, it was nothing like this.
Right. Wow, good for them.
But no, it's so good to be able to lean on Dad for stuff, and I think that's a huge blessing. Like, I'll just call him.
That is such a blessing. I'm actually just thinking about it now and how different, like, our upbringing would have been. Because I would say that the way that I was raised, so in the Filipino, like, going back to, like, migration and, like, cultural and stuff like that, education and, like, higher education was so important in, like, my family and my culture, basically. it was all about security and stability, finding a secure job. And that was like indoctrinated in me from a very young age.
There is a bit of that in my extended family. My my grandparents and my aunt and uncle are very like, have security, have this,
Right.
don't take risk, which is fine. It's not a knock at all. It's just a different mindset. My dad has always lived a very secure life, but
Okay.
encourages me to take risk.
Good for him.
And he was the one that encouraged me to hire Sophie, my first staff member. 'Cause
Really?
I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm a bit nervous. Like,
Yeah.
am I ready? He's like, you need to fucking do this.
Yeah. Oh my God. I really just want to like touch on this like relationship that you have with your dad, because to me that's so alien. I feel like based off what you've told me, you kind of look to your dad as your mentor basically. In a sense, where you go for him for like business advice and just get his thoughts and
Yes.
stuff. But I
That's
will
interesting.
never have these kind of conversations with my parents.
That's really interesting. That's so interesting.
Yeah. So when you say like you're blessed and you're lucky to have this knowledge,
Oh, yeah.
you really are.
Yeah, absolutely. Because my dad, so the way I look at it is my dad has this like massive admin brain. Yeah?
Yes.
I don't have that. I do not have that. I'm happy to take
Well, you mean admin, like he's
like,
organized, like structured in his
spreadsheets, accounting,
I
GST, company structures. And I'm like,
Oh, he's an accountant, so I get
yeah.
it.
And I'm like, I know. I just like, the way I've set this studio up is an example. Like, see all these cords? Like, there's just mess, yeah? I'm like, we just need to, like, get it done. You know what I mean? And I'm all sales and get the job done and make
I
sure the
love that.
customer's happy.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's a strong
customer
quality that
facing-
you have.
Anything customer facing, I'm like,
Of
yes.
course, yes. Back of house.
Finance, law, fucking, how much do you want? You want this much to take it? Fucking whatever you want. Seriously, I cannot stand that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just not the way that I like am. But I have, and I used to shit on. I used to go, fucking admin people are just idiots.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I think that is where businesses. I think it's 50-50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the bit I like is the art, and the bit my dad does is the math.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
most simple way of saying it. And art people shit on math people, and math people shit on art people. You know what I mean? And I actually think it's 50-50.
Yeah.
You could probably appreciate that.
I can
if you couldn't
totally
run
understand.
a spreadsheet, you'd be
Yeah.
fucked. And if you couldn't do art and sell
Yeah.
and have the vision,
Yeah.
you would also be fucked.
Yeah.
It's 50-50.
No, I completely understand, because in my industry and what I do, I have basically a creative agency, right? It's marketing, but essentially it's creatives.
Yep.
So I'm very involved in like the creative direction, design, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm still a business owner. I still have to be structured and organized and figure out ways to scale the business. So I completely understand having to be like the creative, which I feel like on your situation, you're the creative in the sense where like you're client facing, you're the doer, like doing the actual like work itself. But then yeah, there's that side where we have to think about like structuring everything, and that's so important for scaling,
Absolutely.
because how can you delegate and how can you train someone to do all this not low value, but it can be low value task, but also high value tasks that you hate fucking doing? How can you train other people to
I
do
know what
that?
you're saying.
Yeah.
I absolutely know what you're saying. And it's when you say low value,
Like data entry,
yeah,
replying to an email.
scalable tasks.
Yeah.
Like I you know Gary V, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not personally.
Your mate.
Yeah, my mate. Nah,
You love him.
No, I went right off him for about 2 or 3 years.
Why?
I just
You were so
couldn't
obsessed
stand-
with him like
Yeah,
5 years
absolutely,
ago.
Absolutely, and I just, you know, you get to a point with someone and you're like, you know what? I think
I'm over you.
I think I'm done now. I think you're just a bit autistic for me. Well, he's not autistic, but he's there's something there. He's got something going on, surely. No? Anyway, every day it became a bit much.
Okay.
So I just turned it off for like
Okay,
2
fair
or
enough.
3 years.
Yeah.
And that's when I really got into comedy podcasts like Rogan. And then once you get into Rogan and you get into Rogan a bit, you'll start to get into like his mates.
Okay.
Like, so there's one called Your Mum's House, which is his mate Tom Segura and his wife, Christina Pazitsky. And then there's Theo Vaughn's podcast and Tim Dillon's Anyway, I digress. I got back into him, and I can't remember where I was going with that. Oh, damn it.
Me too, I've got ADHD.
And I do want to know something. I worked out that I couldn't remember what I was about to say. And I was like, it'll come back to me. So
You
I'll,
were just going-
list,
you were
I'll list
digressing.
Tim Dillon. I'll list your mum's. And it'll come back. It'll come back. So we're talking about Gary
Where's
V.
this conversation
We're talking
going?
about Gary V. And I can't remember why we started talking about Gary
I
V.
can't, mate, you're asking the wrong person. I feel like I'm like...
I know why I went off him, but I can't remember why I brought him up. Damn it. There was a good point in that. Anyway, I'll watch it back because I listen to the podcast while I garden. So
Really?
So we'll do this.
Yeah.
I'll rip the USB drive out.
Yeah.
Publish the episode.
And then
And
you'll
then
watch
not
it.
listen to it for 3 days.
Nice.
And then Monday, I'll be ripping weeds out. I'll be like, oh, I should probably listen to that episode. And I'll be listening to it. And you're like,
what did I put out
dude,
there?
it's
into
right
the
in front of you.
internet?
How do you not remember? I literally can't remember. And I've stalled a good 35 seconds past when I forgot. I still can't remember. Anyway.
That's alright, we'll move on.
What's it like being a young female? No, I thought it'd be funny if I stopped there. No, but young female business owner.
A young female.
No. A young female.
A young female. I wouldn't say I'm
no.
young.
No, you're
I'm
young.
27.
That's a
That's
baby.
me.
That's a baby.
I'm basically 30. Come on.
Your clients are older than you. Yeah?
Yes.
And what's it like? A lot of people. So I'm learning that. Well, I say I'm learning. Like everyone's learning. Like people are talking about the fact that there's a wage gap between men and women, and all this. Like it's. Business is male dominated. No, is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah.
Like men have run business for a very long time.
Understandable.
And so,
Men are very go-getters. And
well, they're better. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, like, what's it like? Is it
What's
hard?
it like being
Is
a
it hard?
businesswoman in business?
Is it
I mean-
intimidating? Do you feel like you have to rise to the occasion? Do you feel
No,
relaxed?
I don't feel any of that pressure because I'm very much... I don't really pay attention to the outside world. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm very much just focused on my own journey. I don't really compare myself to my peers. I don't compare myself to anyone else on Instagram.
I do the same. I always talk about it as like going off my own PB.
Yeah, like who the fuck cares? Like we all have different upbringing. We all have different experiences in life. Obviously, you know, like when I was talking about how incredible it is that you have your dad to talk about these things, like anything business I've had to learn on my own. Like I remember being like 19, 20 and having, you know, like in my early childhood up until like 20s, that idea of like having a steady job and like all that shit was very prominent in my head. And so I always felt like an outsider in my family. I've completely had to change my circle, completely change my mindset, like my lifestyle, basically, the books that I read, the podcasts that I listened to, everything I have had to learn on my own to get to this stage where I wanted to be. And I don't think, like, obviously when I was younger, I didn't have as much self-confidence, didn't have, you know, a good self-esteem, and I've had to, like, teach myself all of these things growing up. But now, to the present
That's
day,
interesting.
I really don't feel any pressure of, like, being a female business owner.
Yep.
Because I would say the way that I operate on a day-to-day business and the way that I run my business in general is very personal, which might not be a good thing in business, but what I mean by personal is like my business and its services and its purpose and its whole mission basically is very intertwined with my personal purpose. And I only learned this in like the past 2 years, like what I'm actually supposed to do in this lifetime that I have. So that's basically what I just go back to when I operate and I'm having like difficult times. I'm like, are you doing what you're supposed to do in terms of purpose? Are you helping out the people you want to help out? Are you making these people feel empowered, inspired, and, you know, wanting to elevate in their business? Yes, I'm doing all of those. So why the fuck does anything else matter? And in the meantime, it's like, I have a good life, despite the fact that, you know, you would completely understand as a business owner. Number one, you have your own business. If you don't fucking hustle, like, there's no income. Like, this is literally our livelihoods. Not only our livelihoods, but our team's livelihoods and our staff's livelihoods.
It's a vulgar expression given the fact that I've got a female guest, but it's balls to the wall. It's balls to the wall. Like you
balls to the wall.
You fuck up, you lose your balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you don't get enough clients this week, well, you didn't have enough income this week.
Yeah.
Which means like the power
That's pressure
goes off.
on me.
The power goes off.
Yeah, but when you ask like being a female entrepreneur in this day and age, I don't know, maybe that's a social media thing where people just make everything just over dramatic, but based off my experience, I'm very good at just like cutting out the noise and just focusing on like my own shit.
Play your own game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So I don't know if that's like something that you didn't expect, but like, to be honest, I don't give a fuck. Like, as long as like my bills are paid and like my team is happy and I'm doing like every day what I'm doing is aligned with my personal mission and purpose, I'm sweet.
Why marketing?
Why marketing?
And is it a part of a broader plan for you, or are you going to run this agency forever?
Oh my god. Actually, I never say yeah, I'm going to have like Blanc Studio forever. But I don't know if you remember, but when I was doing like cafes and managing cafes, okay, first of all, we've established that I've always wanted to open my own cafe and have my own venue, etc. Never worked out for a reason, which we can get into. But I was always... Oh, look, there's a pigeon up there. It's gone now. Sorry, my ADHD brain.
It may have been an Indian miner.
No, it was a pigeon. It was like a fat, juicy pigeon.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of Indian miners around here.
Okay, cool.
Which I called
We
a friend...
like the Indian miners too.
Yeah, I called a friend the other day and he was saying that he was having issues with the bird and he described that and I said, that's an Indian miner. And he said, is that a joke? You can't say that. I'm like, dude, it's a type of bird. He's like, you're pulling my leg.
There it is.
This is Josh.
Do you see him?
Yeah, that's an Indian miner.
No, that's a pigeon.
Is it? I just
bro.
saw the tail. I was just trying to fill out the story.
Sorry. Okay, I digress there. ADHD. Yeah. What was I saying? Cafe.
Cafes don't make money.
Okay. True.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
God.
why cafes don't make money.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So I was
Did I
always
just kick your leg.
No, you didn't. That
Okay.
was probably the table.
Okay, cool. I'm not playing footsie with you on it. I promise.
Okay.
I just
Good
have
to know.
ADHD.
Me too.
And I need
Probably was spoken about so many different
I
things.
need to pee, and we're 55
Do you
minutes.
need to go?
No,
Pee?
it's fine. No,
Then go.
No, we'll see how long I can hold it for.
Okay.
Keep going. ADHD, cafes don't make money. Why marketing? Is it a part of a broader picture?
So when I was
remembered.
young, I was always into like photography and you know, as we do when we're young, we've started many endeavors in business.
For sure.
Like I remember having this is all during my time in the cafe brunch hospitality years, which has basically been like, apart from the last 2 to 3 years before that, since I was 18, I was basically in hospitality, right? So all throughout that journey, I was always doing like photography. I was always taking photos for other cafes. All the businesses that I manage, I always end up doing their social media. I really love just like, you know, making the socials look good, making sure that visuals are aligned, etc. So I've always had it. And
Yeah, you have.
I've always had
You've
like
always had
that creative side of me, but I didn't quite narrow it down to like a marketing.
My dad's gonna hate this expression, but I call it a third eye for art because that's a little bit
That's
Illuminati,
true. Yeah.
devil worship.
No, it's true.
But
like
it feels
that's
like a
my
third
innate.
eye.
That's
Yeah.
just like my innate talent.
You've got this vision that nobody else has. Everyone around you is like doesn't have that.
Yeah.
I get it.
And then it was only recently, well, like 2 years ago. I think that was after COVID, where I think my dreams in hospitality just kind of like were really just in dark places. Like I was just like, this is shit. Like I can't picture my life to be like this long term. Like I just like ended up fucking hating it.
Yeah.
But that's a huge statement because I was so passionate about the industry. And yeah, I think I just kind of realized if I wanted to open up my own cafe, from someone who, you know, doesn't have a lot of financial backup. Like, my family's not rich at all.
I get it.
And my family doesn't have business background, so I didn't have anyone to, like, support me. Like, I was probably, like, 23, 22 at this stage, and I was just like, I'm not... What 22-year-old has 3,000...
3,000's a lot.
$300,000.
Okay, I was saying 3,000's a lot.
No.
You're talking about
Okay,
300,000.
I had 3,000 when I was fucking 23.
Yeah, I get you.
300K
Yeah.
capital to open up their own cafe.
Yeah.
Who has that kind of backup? And so I think I kind of just realized if I was to continue the hospitality direction, I would need to partner up with people, which means that would reduce my, like, I guess, control over the business. So that was one thing. I was like, okay, well, if I was to partner up with people, they would provide financially, and I would be like the operational.
It's a heavy trapdoor.
Exactly.
When you think about barrier to entry, and like any business has barrier to entry, and I always think about it like a trapdoor, and I think, how heavy is the trapdoor? So gardening, you borrow your dad's mower, and you try and find someone to cut their grass. Yeah, I suppose there's a trapdoor. You got to get in the car and find a mower. But you can get a mower for $100 off. Like, is there really a no heavy trapdoor for you though? Like $300,000.
$300,000.
And what that means is, like, so if I fucked up and I borrowed my dad's mower and went to someone's house, I broke the grass.
Yes.
For you, you invested $300,000, took out a location, 12-month lease, hired staff, bought materials.
So much on the line.
Fuck me, I'm getting neck sweats just thinking about it.
For like what?
Yeah.
Like
And
barely
then
any
where are
profit
we?
margin.
What are we doing? Are you making 20% off that? Not a shit. Not a chance.
I'm sorry to all the hospo owners watching this. It's tough for you.
By the way, there are some successful cafes out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, like,
For
you can
sure.
do well doing a cafe. You've just got to be in that 1%.
I think
though.
for me,
I definitely kicked your
you
leg there.
definitely kicked me.
I'm
That
so sorry.
really hurt.
I'm so sorry.
I'm joking. It did not.
It's not the pain. Anyway, I'll go this way.
Do that. I'm just glad that I didn't go that direction. And there had been multiple times, like at least 3 times, where that opportunity was presented to me, like the ability to finally go into partnership with other people, or like I spoke to some potential investors who were like keen, because you know me. You know that I'm a very ambitious person, driven person. Like, whatever I want to do, I will fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know? So people felt that way about me, and they're willing to invest their money and for me to make it happen. But for some reason, it just never, ever, ever, ever worked out. And oh my God, it's so funny that you asked me that question, because, well, what's the question? It's like, why marketing? This was right before I quit my last, what do you call it? Hospo job. Do you remember Rob?
Yeah. Yeah.
Still
I
talk to him?
messaged him the other day. I interviewed his friend.
Which one?
So Helen Parker.
I don't know Helen Parker.
He knew Helen.
Yeah.
And I was angling to try and get him on the podcast. So I said, I interviewed your friend. You're always welcome. And he just didn't. Anyway.
I'm sure he's a busy.
I'll send him.
Successful man.
I will send him this
send him
one
a selfie.
too.
No.
Hey Rob, if you would like to come on the podcast,
can
there's
I
a chair
be?
here for you. Anyway.
Oh my God, we should interview him.
Yeah, you're more than
Oh my God,
welcome.
sick.
And there's 2 chairs.
Oh my God, we can all get drunk together.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, that'll be so much fun. Anyway, Rob was like to me one day, he was like, why don't you take, at that time, Blanc Studio was called Jane Collective.
Sure.
He was like, why don't you just do Jane Collective? And I was like...
So was he the spark?
He was one of the people. Like,
cool.
There were a couple of people who had mentioned being like, why don't you just take your business full time? But I remember him being one of the people who were like, why don't you just grow Jane Collective?
He pushed me too.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Aww.
So I get it. I know where you are.
Yeah.
Like, mentally.
Yeah, he said that, and I was like, nah, like, all this stuff is just side hustle. I wanna open a cafe. I was so determined to open a cafe. I was like, this.
And he was running a cafe at the moment.
Yeah, he was.
At that point.
Yeah, he
running a
was
cafe.
like looking to sell.
Yeah. But like, so you said to him like, I want to open a cafe. And
he
what
was
did he
like,
say?
He was like, do something else.
Do something else. That's great.
So that was that, and then like a couple months later, literally, like a month later, that was during I had like a little bit of a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Just to give you some perspective, like where I was working, we were new, and then COVID happened. And then after COVID and lockdowns were all like set free and everything, it was very mentally taxing, like hospitality in general, physically taxing as well. And so I think I burnt out and I fell out of love from the industry, and we had like a month off work. And during that month, I didn't realize I was going through depression, but I didn't realize that was happening until like after, because I had spent literally 4 weeks on my couch, just like not moving. Like not moving,
I get it.
Not exercising, and I'm like, I don't feel right. And I think I saw Rob a couple of times during that time of my life, and he was the one who was like, why don't you do Jane Collective? And I was like, oh, whatever, like I don't want to. I want to open my own cafe.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize my body already knew what was happening. It took
man, ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? The body always knows.
The body knows. And that's why I was so burnt out. And a couple of weeks later, I literally had a proper mental breakdown. And that was the day that I realized that I'm quitting my hospo job. I'm letting go of this idea that I've had the past 7 to 8 years of wanting to open my own cafe. I was heartbroken because it was also like scary. Like letting go of that idea of what you want to achieve to suddenly being like, I have to start over again. Because remember, you have to think that I wasn't only in hospitality for the sake of like earning money. For me, it was like I'm making all these connections. I'm building trust with potential business partners. And I was like creating opportunities for myself in hospo. And then suddenly I recognized that I didn't want to do it anymore. And I was like, fuck, like I have to reinvent myself again. So that was really heavy. And I think that was part of me that was like so scared to leave that, even though I knew that it wasn't for me anymore. But yeah, Rob was like, why don't you do Jane Collective? And I was like, why don't I do Jane Collective?
I love the way you changed the
yeah, no, because I started thinking about it. I was okay, this is crazy, right? I didn't see the potential in my business, but I was working 55 hours in a hospo.
And it's not even your business.
Not my business. And
not a chance.
I cared for it like it was my own business.
Nah, fuck that. You've got good discipline.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was with the intention to eventually partner up with them. So I had,
So you're selling yourself.
Yeah, so I had the best interest, like,
yeah.
Whatever. And I was working an extra 10 hours a week on Jane Collective.
Yeah.
But I was earning the same. So I was working like 10 hours at Jane Collective for my own business.
Yeah.
And I was working up to 55 hours for this cafe that I was managing at. And I was earning the same. And then that was when I was like, Rob's right. There's potential.
Legit. Yeah.
I was like, imagine if I have just injected all this time, energy, effort, love into my own business. Imagine the scale, the growth that I could take this to.
100%.
So that's when I took the leap. Oh my God, trust me, I didn't know. Like, I was fucking scared. Like, I knew the first few months because I would be kind of like, I would be losing half of my income, basically. So I knew the first few months are going to be difficult, but I didn't have a plan B. I was just like, it's fucking swim or die, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Did you feel less depressed after that?
Yeah.
I bet you did.
Oh my God. Yeah. I just like had so much sense of like purpose and clarity. I didn't know. Like the whole purpose thing only just kind of came to me recently, like in the last year. But when I quit, that was a whole different story. But that was a good step towards like, yeah, just, I don't know, just like finally like believing in like that part of me that I kind of neglected for so long because I didn't have enough self-belief. Does that make sense?
I get it.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to take that jump though, isn't it?
But that's so scary. I had no family that I could go to for advice. I didn't really have a lot of friends who had just started businesses. So I felt very alone in that, like, beginning
Balls to
that
the
jump.
wall.
And like my employers at that time, like
Yeah.
obviously it was devastating for them to have me leave because I was like a huge part in their business. So I felt like I didn't have a lot of support from their end as well. Because I understand. They're business owners as well. They're just wanting to do well for their business. I completely
Correct.
understand. So it was a very isolating journey.
I bet. Man, that's such an interesting word because isn't entrepreneurship very isolating?
So
It's
isolating.
just you.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Yeah.
Like, and everything leads back to you, yeah? So, meaning if someone has an issue with your staff member, like, it's you.
Yeah.
Like, I hired them.
Fuck.
It's all you.
Yeah.
And it's isolating.
Yeah.
And if you have a business partner, you sort of cushion the load. But, like, neither of us do. Mm-hmm. And having a business partner presents its own... So what I've found about having a business partner, especially when you're bootstrapping, and bootstrapping means starting from zero and getting no investment, you've got to get the weight of the business from 0 to 1 for 2 people. So if you need $75,000 a year, you actually need $150,000 a year to get from 0 to 1. So yeah, it's nicer, but it's harder. It's a lot harder to
Yeah.
get from 0 to 1 when you have 2 people. It's nicer, but it's harder.
Yeah.
So man, it all presents like it's the hardest thing. It is harder than raising a kid. He says after 6 months of doing it, but seriously,
I'm not there yet about raising a kid, so
Yeah.
I'll share my thoughts when I have a kid in 10 years.
but you're like starting something from nothing. It's the Big Bang Theory. It's like literally,
I don't know.
or Genesis 1, like
Fuck, true.
there was nothing, and then God said, "Let there be light," and
yeah.
there was light.
Holy shit, that's
Yeah,
so true.
it's like-
I
Yeah.
feel like with the whole like starting your own business, because I feel like like when I explained how I've always had it, like that idea, like that photography and social media management, I've always done it. So it didn't really feel like such a big switch for me, but I forget that to some people, it's so, like, it takes a lot of courage to be able to, like, leave security to do your own thing and having to, like, find your own clients, find work for yourself and grow your business in the meantime. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Even like, it's not even like necessarily a math thing because you had the math there to show you that like you were working not very hard. I say in inverted commas for those just listening. On Jane Collective and working 55 hours a week and you were earning the same amount. So the math said like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
But it's also like the voices in your head of like, do I back myself? Do I
Yeah.
trust myself? Like, is this real? What are people going to say?
What if
is-
I
what's
can't
mum
find
gonna say?
clients?
What if, like, what? Yeah, literally, like, yeah, I've made it work with these 2 people, but to make this work, like, I actually need to find 9 people. What if I can't find 9 people? Where am I going to find the 9 people? What's mum going to say? What's dad going to say?
Oh
You've
my
got
God.
120, 12 nieces and nephews. What are they going to say? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's real. It's
Yeah.
real.
You know what? It's funny that you say that because at the beginning of my journey, and I think that's why I've held off in like doing what I want to do for so long, is I used to be so controlled by other people's opinions. But I really just like, I'm so proud of myself to sit here today and say that I literally do not give a flying fuck.
That's great. And do you want to know something? I think that is one of the most powerful places you can go to, like not giving a fuck. So I've got a favorite comedian. No, it's not a favorite comedian. He's
One of
very. I think he's the funniest guy on earth, but I don't really resonate with his stories. So I both think he's the funniest comedian, and I have other favorite comedians, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's the most talented comedian.
Okay.
Joey Diaz.
I don't know.
So Joey Diaz has a... I'll show you a photo of what he looks like. Joey Diaz has a story that Joe Rogan always tells. Joey was always the funniest... You probably recognise his face.
Not really.
No, you never seen this guy in a movie?
No.
He's in a lot of movies.
I'm not into pop culture a lot. Oh, maybe I have.
He's in The Sopranos and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, he was always the funniest guy in the car park at the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
Which is the LA Comedy Club. No, they're not
Okay.
the Comedy Cellar. The Comedy Store.
Okay.
Sorry. And for years and years and years, he was the funniest person in the car park. and would eat shit on stage every
Oh
night
my
for like
God.
a decade. He was terrible. And the thing that changed is he stopped giving a fuck. He decided, you know what? I don't care what this audience thinks anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell my story.
Yeah.
After 10 years. Took him 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting that you say, like, you get to that point where you just do not give a fuck anymore, and that's when you get released.
I literally don't. Now, like...
It's great. It's perfect. Good
Yeah.
thing it didn't take 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know if you'd remembered, but I've always been so... not vulnerable, but, like, I share a lot of my journey on my socials,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. And I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't always so confident in what I was doing. Like, I remember literally, like, being at Little by Little, and I think I had just broken up with my ex, and he was, like, a great guy, by the way, but at the same time, he just didn't understand social media, so I always...
That can be hard.
Yeah, I always just, like, whenever I post something, just scared of judgment from, like, old bosses.
Dude, me too. I don't post on
friends.
LinkedIn. I don't post
Really?
on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
But
Like, that's a professional fucking...
the entire real estate world is on
That's
there, and they
horrible.
are so judgy.
Ew,
They all have tall
that's
poppy.
it.
They'll look down your nose at you. I don't post on LinkedIn because of that.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I've said it, I'm going to post on LinkedIn
Good,
today.
yeah.
I'm just like, fuck you all.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Friends, family.
Yeah.
My closest immediate family.
Yep.
Old bosses. That was a hard one for me. Because, you know, I was always...
I get it.
Because I was always the manager. I was always close to the business owner. So doing my own thing and, like, showcasing myself in that light on social media.
Yep.
Like, I knew people talk shit. Oh, people talk shit all the time.
Absolutely.
Even old friends. Old friends who, you know, you went to high school with, uni with. They're just like, ew, why is Jane, like, posting that kind of stuff? Like, who does she think she is?
Dude, 100%. It's tall poppy syndrome. And it's like bred into our culture. And it's the biggest fucking horse shit ever. Because in order to do anything in this world, you need to be the tall poppy.
Yeah.
In order to succeed and rise above this, like, system we have.
Yeah.
You need to be the tall poppy. So,
Yeah.
we have tall poppy syndrome, which, you know what that is, yeah?
Yeah.
Uh,
Wait, maybe
So,
explain it
tall
to
poppy syndrome is
friends.
like, so... The crux of it is, if there's a tall poppy, it's a tall flower and it needs to be cut down.
Right.
So,
That's horrible.
and what that means is, like, you think you're good, you think you can run a business and go on social media and say, like, here's how you can run a business in 35 seconds or less, blah, 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 blah. No, fuck you. You're a tall poppy. You need to be cut down. Hey, Jane, you suck.
Wow.
Jane, you suck. And that's, like, it's really bad in Australia. It's less in the US.
Yeah.
But our culture... we have this systematized tall poppy syndrome, which makes it so hard. That's why there's no Australian winners. Because our entire culture is based on, like, hey, why don't you, like, wake up in the morning, earn just enough to, like, pay half the bills and get the rest from Centrelink and drink VB on the couch. No?
So true.
Like, that's and I'm not saying everyone in Australia is lazy, but what I'm saying is we hero worship the low poppies. The low poppies are the heroes, not the tall poppies.
Yeah.
If there's a tall poppy, fuck them.
We call that crab mentality in the Philippines. Have you heard of crab mentality?
No.
So you put, like, a bunch of crabs in a bucket. One tries to get up.
Yep.
One crab sees it getting out and it, like, grabs its legs to pull it back down so no one can get out of the bucket.
That sucks. I hate that the most.
Yeah.
Fuck crab mentality.
Fuck crab mentality.
Fuck crabs.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I didn't even realize what I said. I thought literal crabs.
I was thinking literal crabs. What are you thinking about?
I thought you were joking around, like,
No.
with, like, okay, never mind.
Never mind.
But yeah, fuck crabs.
Yeah. So it's horrible. I had a lot of that experience, but there came to a point. I think I would have read this book, and I forget what book or who wrote it, but there was a quote where it's like, what other people think of you is not your responsibility. And that completely changed my outlook, because a lot of my life and what I'm doing have been driven by the fact that I'm going to prove my parents wrong. I'm going to prove, you know, all these people talking shit about me, like my old friends, wrong, and I'm going to be successful. I stopped caring about that shit and just kept doing what I was doing. And guess what? Based from doing what I'm doing on social media, I've successfully built a business that is, like, in less than 8 months, over, like, 6 figures.
It's real
you know.
tit's real. It's real.
It's
And
real.
I
Like,
hate
it's
to have
profitable and it's scalable, but it is the same thing that I was doing 5 years ago that I was being made fun of, being judged by the closest in my life, and I didn't stop. I stopped caring about what they thought, and now I'm making money out of it. So really, who the fuck's the joker here?
Hey, do you know about Dave Portnoy? Do you know who he is?
No.
Do you know what Barstool Sports is?
No.
Okay. Off to a bad start. Barstool Sports. Do you know something? I don't know what Barstool Sports is.
Cool.
It's just occurred to me. I'm pretty sure. So they're a sports. They're an empire.
Mm-hmm.
They do podcasting. I think they do sports betting.
Okay.
I know how it started off. It was a newspaper. This guy made a free newspaper, biked around New Jersey, and threw the newspaper out. And he's turned it into Barstool Sports.
Wow. Okay.
Which Barstool Sports valuation $390 million business. So it's quite big.
Sheesh.
This guy is a funny cat, and anytime he has a feud with anyone, or anytime anyone does like what you were saying,
Belittle
people were
him.
laughing at you. Yeah, he puts their name on a champagne bottle and waits for them to fuck up. And when they fuck up, he opens the champagne bottle. So
That's incredible.
So he
start doing that.
He put on a champagne bottle the owner of ESPN.
Yeah.
And 3 days later, he got ratted out by his Coke deal and got fired from ESPN. And he opened the champagne bottle and he was like, "Here's to you, buddy." Isn't that great?
That's incredible.
I kind of love that attitude, though.
You should do that.
You should do that. We should both do that.
I mean, I don't really have a lot of haters. Like, there's some people who have taught me some lessons, but like I don't have a lot of haters.
I get it. I actually have a lot more questions for you.
Yeah, please, just go off.
I can no
go
longer...
off, because I feel like we both have ADHD brains, and
I
we'll
can
just
no longer hold in this pee.
Okay, go.
So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click pause on that.
Okay.
That chair in.
Yeah. I got it. How are you going?
And we're back.
We're back.
Good pee?
That was such a solid pee.
It was good, wasn't it?
Far out. I've been keeping the seal in.
Yep. No, I get ya. So I did have a question for you, and I still do.
Okay.
So this is something I've been grappling with this week. Yeah, the difference between drive and discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, the difference between drive and discipline.
It's an everyday battle.
Yeah, man. So I, for the longest time, have believed I'm a disciplined person.
Okay.
And I actually think, you want to know something? Andrew, I don't think you're disciplined. I think you're driven. And the difference, I think, between drive and discipline is, I think drive is like you have a passion for something and you want to see it succeed. So it's an emotional thing, whereas discipline is non-emotional.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I 100% agree.
Do you think you're disciplined? Because I don't. So I'm
You don't think I'm disciplined?
No, fuck me. I don't think I'm disciplined, and I'm on this conquest to understand discipline, exercise discipline, and build discipline.
That's been a struggle that I've had over the past few years, because I feel like both you and I are very driven, ambitious people, right?
Yep.
But I, just from like observing and being self-aware of my own like actions, I guess, I feel like I go through phases of like being completely disciplined and like, what's the word for it? Like tunnel vision kind of vibe. But then I'll go phases of procrastination and
I get it.
falling off.
Yeah. Which is not discipline, is it? So I've been, let's give it a bloody Google.
Google.
So so the problem is I Googled it the other day.
Sorry.
Discipline, alcoholic. Discipline is different to disciplined, is what I worked out the other day. So discipline is beating the shit out of your kids. Disciplined is showing a controlled form of behaviour try it in English, Andrew. Showing a controlled form of behaviour or way of working, a disciplined approach to management.
Right.
And I guess the way I think of that is almost like a military grade level of like, hey, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Would you agree?
100%.
Do you think that that's the key to a successful business?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you... what are some things that you do you do some things to try and like build your discipline, exercise discipline? So I suppose it's like anything, like any strength in business is probably a muscle. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be so hard on myself, especially like going from the switch of taking my business full time.
Yep.
Going from like employed elsewhere to taking my business full time. I used to have this like false sense of structure as to like I have to be working from 9 to 5 every single day for discipline, and like I have to be productive during these hours kind of thing. And whenever I would not do that, I would feel horrible about myself.
Yep.
So I've had to kind of switch my mindset and kind of think, you're a business owner now. You have complete control over your own schedule. You can do whatever the fuck you want so long as the work gets done. So my form of discipline is basically just the everyday things that I do either for myself personally or the things that I need to do for my business every single day that are non-negotiable. I take those and make sure I get them done, but it doesn't fucking matter what time I get up or what time I go to bed so long as I get them done. So I think that's one way that I've made it simpler for myself. Does that make sense? Like,
really does.
I don't give myself this like I used to. Don't get me wrong. I really had this like false notion of like structure and schedule in my head where I had to be up by 7 a.m. so I could go work out, and by the time it's 9 a.m. I'm ready for work. But the whole point of starting a business, well, from based off like my own personal goals and like where I want to be in life, business to me is a vessel to be able to literally live out the life that I want to live. So,
man, me too. Yeah. Legit.
So,
are you gonna get that working at a store? No.
Yeah, exactly. So who's telling me that I have to work from 9 to 5 every single day? Yeah. That's just the conditioning that I've learned from all these years of working for other people. It took me so long to get to this idea that to accept the idea that I was now in control of my own life and actually stop feeling bad for it.
Yeah.
So discipline to me is not so much like from like a military perspective, like you have to be up at this time, you have to be doing this X amount of time.
I get ya.
Yeah.
I get ya. Have you ever heard of the 20-mile march? Probably not. I hadn't heard of it until this week. So
what is it?
I spoke with Dad this week about about discipline. Because I said this is to the point earlier about me being very fortunate that I can sort of just lean on my old man. Dad flew down last week and he did a podcast with me and Mum as well. By the way, if you want to buy any of my mum's books, they're all up there.
That's crazy.
Falling Slowly, not Clarkson.
Wait,
she's not Jeremy Clarkson.
Tell them that your mum's book is about the cult, right?
Her
the experience in the cult.
If you want to buy a book, that's really cool.
That's so
RebeccaPater.com.au. Anyway, I digress.
ADHD team.
I'm not going to do every fucking episode plugging my mum's book, just when she's on. Anyway, Dad came down and we did a podcast. We set up the Christmas tree and we had some dinner. And around the dinner table, I was saying to Dad, I think I've worked out that I'm not disciplined, I'm driven. And he was like, yeah.
You don't say.
It's like, yeah. And it was so interesting. And I was like, oh, fuck, thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
But a couple of days went by and I called him and I was like, hey, I've decided I want to get disciplined. This comes back to you talking about the fact that my dad's actually a mentor, which I've never considered until you said it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And he talked to me about the 20-mile march, which I've just Googled.
Please.
The 20-mile march. What is your 20-mile march? What few things you do consistently without fail to guarantee success? So I think the idea of the 20-mile march is like it's hard to do I think it's hard to do 200 miles in a year, but if you do like 20 miles a week, then you can do 200 miles in 10 weeks. Or whatever it is. Being successful at a 20-mile march requires hitting specified performance markers with great consistency over a long period of time. Organizations that grab hold of this concept consistently deliver high performance in tough times and hold back in good times. Interesting. So
Shit.
to your point about it not being about like hitting these bullshit markers of like I've got to get up at this time and do this thing.
Yeah.
You go, my time is my time. I just have to do the things required to make my business. I just have to hit my 20-mile march every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it doesn't
20-mile march.
matter. Because, listen, we all have different lives. We all have different businesses. We all have different thinking. We all have, we're all in different phases in our lives. So you can't literally box yourself according to someone else, like, reality.
I bet you do better late at night.
100%.
Yeah,
I
used
wake
to.
up at 9 a.m.
I used to.
I wake up at 9 a.m.
Yeah, no, I wake up at about 4:45 now.
That's
It's very different being in an
crazy.
outside job, man. I used to wake up at 11.
Fuck.
But I would work till fucking 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, see, it
That's
doesn't
fine.
fucking matter. Like, as a business owner, it really doesn't matter when you wake up, so long as you get your work
What time
done.
do you go to bed?
Like 11-ish.
Sure.
But I
I go
stay
to
up
bed at
until
8:30.
I work until like 8:30, 9
Yeah,
o'clock.
okay. Yeah, no. And to be honest with you, the minute I'm off the tools, I'll go back to...
Admin.
No. Fuck admin. I'll go back... I will go back to, like you do. 9 o'clock wake up. 11 o'clock bedtime. Man, I wish... That's the hard bit about my business.
What?
It's the sun governs when
Yeah.
I'm allowed to work.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, like, your like work output being governed by the sun and noise restrictions?
Noise restriction.
No, seriously, today. So I have a mow that I need to do,
Oh,
and
I didn't even think about that.
I push a fucking lawnmower for a living. So I had a mow that I need to do, and I was like, okay, so I've got a massage at 9:30. I've got Jane coming around midday, so it needs to get done. It needs to get done in the morning. I'll just get up early. I can't. Noise restrictions kick in at 9. So I got 9 to 9:30.
Wow.
9 to 9:30 to do an hour's work. So the mow didn't get done today because noise restrictions
Fuck.
and the rain.
I love that not love that for you.
Man, I love it too. I love it too.
No, but
seriously.
don't you love, like, in business,
Yeah.
in whatever industry that you're in, you have so many different, like, external factors that you have to consider on top of, like, internal factors already. Mm-hmm. And this is what I love about business and entrepreneurship. Like, everyone's story is so different.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting that you tell me about that, because I never even fucking consider that. Like, to me, I just get up whenever I want to. Like, yes, I set deadlines for myself, and I set, my own, like, you have to send this revision to a client by this time, but at the end of the day, I set that up for myself so that I'm organized.
I get it.
I think that's just so wild.
It's interesting, isn't it? I found myself being, to the point of not having any discipline, I found myself being more disciplined after having these restrictions.
Okay.
So the restrictions, and it comes back to, have you ever heard the old adage of, if you've got something that needs to get done quickly, give it to a busy person? Have you ever heard that before?
No.
If you want something done quick, give it to a busy person, because they'll just get it
Get
done.
it done.
Yeah, someone who has nothing going on will take 6 weeks.
Procrastinate.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I have small windows
Okay.
where I need to get work done. And I'll often be finished for the day, and I'll go, I'm driving past that house that I need to mow tomorrow. And I'll literally just rock up, knock on the door and say, hey, I'm early. I was driving past. Can I do it today?
Yeah.
She'll be like, yeah,
Efficiency.
that's fine. Cut the fucking grass. I don't
love
care.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is going to link in well with my second question that I asked you 45 minutes ago. Why marketing, and is it
Yeah.
a part of the bigger picture?
Oh, yeah.
the
I
bigger-
don't think I ever
the
answered
bigger-
that question.
We're going to come back to the bigger
I
picture
never answered the question.
But the bigger picture question for me is, so why gardening, and is it a part of the bigger picture? Absolutely. Why gardening? Because I knew it. I grew up on 4 acres. The first thing I ever did, literally,
Wow,
when
I
I was...
didn't know that.
Yeah, when I was, like... My dad will be like, it wasn't 7 years old. But yeah, fuck dad, 7 years old. I was cutting grass at 7 years old.
Okay.
My dad will be like, well, you weren't 7 years old. It's like, no, dad, you're a liar. I was 7 years old. That's what I know how to do. Like, gardening is what, like, I grew up on 4 acres. I knew how to use a chainsaw. Like, I knew how to do all this stuff. I
Okay.
just happened to
It's
know
just
it.
like-
And I was like, I actually have all this, like, the hard skills.
Yeah.
And from real estate, so real estate was tough. So I started a real estate business, and it's tough because you get paid 24 months after you make the sale.
Yeah,
and it's like,
what the fuck?
how do you run a business
How do
like
you
that?
do that? How do you live?
The answer is have $300,000 saved, which
Like
I did not.
any 20-year-old has.
So I
Easily.
started with the worst whale of businesses, a real estate business. As it turns out, that's the worst whale of a business to start.
Far out.
And I had seen the writing on the wall, and I remember this is a good story actually. I was drunk on a flight, and I decided, which calling back to Geordie's episode about flying business class.
Yeah.
Have you ever done this? Have you ever flown business class?
No.
Scope out tickets. You can pay $50 more and fly business class.
I think Mon told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$50 more, fly business class. You just get shit-faced on the flight and have the best time of your life. And if you're lucky like me, you can steal champagne glasses that say Virgin on the
Oh
bottom.
my god. Okay. Thank you. Noted.
Anyway, that's a long story. But yeah, no, shit-faced on a flight. I saw the writing on the wall and I was like, okay, this business doesn't work anymore.
You were shit faced.
Yeah. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I don't have any skills.
No.
This is my problem. No, this is my problem. Like, I can't do anything. Like,
Okay.
can I be a doctor? No. Can I be, like, what can I do? I was like, oh, I know how to garden.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, I literally was like, okay, so I'm starting a gardening business. And on the flight, I named it, like, within 10 minutes. I was like, what am I going to call it? All right, I'm going to call it Sharp Yards. And then I named it on the flight. And then I got off the flight and worked out Sharp Yards was taken. And down the bottom it said, like, would you like to call it Smart Yards? And I was like, that's fine too. And now my business is called Smart Yards.
That's fine.
Literally.
She'll do.
Yeah, but like literally it's just a placeholder name. And why Smart Yards? The reason Smart Yards is, number one, I had the skills to do it. I happened to be able to do that.
Great.
And I needed to learn business. I needed to be in an environment where there's quick transactions, where there's problems coming up, where you have issues like a smashed window or an unhappy client. I needed to learn business. So this is me doing business school. I happen to be making money doing business school.
I love that for you.
Do I want to be a gardener? No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
lovely. I know how to do it. I think I do a good job.
Yeah.
But do I want to be a gardener? No, not really.
Yeah.
If I'm 75 years old and I'm running a gardening business in Frankston, I'd be like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
totally
I'm
get
doing a crash course in business. So that's why gardening, because it's a part of a broader picture. There's a lot of things that I want to do.
Okay, well, let's explore this broader picture for you.
Well, the answer is I want to follow the natural story of my life, which sounds lame and hippie like, but what I mean by that is like there are some things that I want to do. Like I'd love to do marketing, which is why I'm interested.
Really?
Yeah, man. So I nearly started a marketing business.
No, I remember this.
Yeah, I nearly started.
Wait, what do you mean you nearly started? Didn't you
on the
start one?
flight. Oh, yeah, no, I did.
On the flight?
Yeah,
Oh my
on
god,
the
how many
flight-
businesses did you start on this flight?
On the flight, I literally wrote a list of everything. I was like, what could I do? It's a 2-hour flight. I wrote a list of everything I could have done,
Yeah.
and then I landed on gardening.
Okay.
Got off the flight
So,
and got high
let's
pages.
explore this marketing side of you.
But so I would have started a marketing business. My problem was I felt that I wanted to have had business success and be like, this is how you like should market. You get me?
Oh, you
I
needed
wanted
to have that
some-
credibility first.
I wanted to have wins. I wanted to have some runs on the board
I see.
before I started, because at that point it was like, well, I'm a real estate agent. I say, yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the reality is I would have been able to shit talk myself into clients, and I would have fucked up a few and like done well enough to make it work. Like it would have panned out.
Yeah.
But it would have been disingenuous.
Okay.
So ultimately I'd love to do a marketing business.
But
And
what do you
also
mean by marketing? Because there's so many umbrellas that fall into marketing. What did you like?
paid ads.
Oh, like
So-
more
so
digital
cre-
strategy.
Yeah, creative. So I want to sit down with Pepsi and be like, hey, you should do this ad this way, and we should have a whole strategy around like an idea. You know what I mean? And which sounds kind of vague. I saw an ad the other day of, it was an Optus ad, and the guy was, or maybe it wasn't it was LG. I'll see if I can play it. Long board LG ad. You'll probably be like, this is a gay ad. But, like, I was like, man, that's, like, what I want to do.
Okay.
Like...
So you want to come up with, like, creative campaigns, basically?
This really got me.
Optimism is a funny thing.
Sorry for everyone on the live.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, all. You can't hear
It's
this.
not
or
what you
see
call an
this.
easy
It's a minute and a
path.
half.
Life is too full of setbacks and chaos to feel optimistic. Yet if you do decide to take yourself to the very edge of what's possible, and dive in, smile first.
He's so cute.
Isn't he?
He's so cute.
You know what I mean?
That's when the good stuff starts.
Look at him. God, isn't your heart warm?
Yes.
I want to cry watching this.
Oh my god, he's so happy.
Oh, look at him go. Isn't that cool?
Optimism is a hard thing to choose. But once you do, you'll see why life's good.
That's cute.
Good ad though. Hey?
I like
That's
that.
an LG ad. Life's good.
Yeah, I like the use of like the little boy voiceover.
So, but if I described that, if I was like, oh yeah, it's an old dude on a longboard, you'd be like, okay, so that's horseshit. But like, that's what I want to do. I think might be time for some WD-40 on the album. No, it's just fucked. Anyway, I picture myself as an artist, and I'm actually quite inspired by Kanye. So Kanye is a funny cat because Kanye is a musician. He's a producer. He's a creative director. He's a fashion designer. He's an artist. And he goes, my brain is art. And I'm not going to put any ceilings on it. So every business I run, I want it to be about art. And everything I do, like podcast, business, fucking anything I do, I want it to be about art. So I said it 2 podcasts ago and I was really drunk, so I slurred my words.
What did
you
say?
Well, I'll say it like I said it 2 podcasts ago. Everything I do is a distillation of my brain. Because I was so drunk. But what I mean is, like, everything I want to do is a distillation of my brain. So my brain is, like, very art-focused. And, I mean, like, when I say art's a funny one. Because people, like, I'm not a painter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But art is, like, creativity. It sparks interest. It sparks provocation, provoking people's ideas. That's what art is. Yeah. And I want to spend the rest of my life monetizing the brain that I feel like I've been gifted by God. So what do I want to do for the rest of my life? Yeah, like marketing. Marketing is like advertising specifically, like marketing and advertising. I'm not really sure the difference. Do you know the difference?
I should.
Yeah, it's alright.
But
We'll
I've
work it out together.
Had a couple glasses of wine.
Marketing definition. By the way, you don't have to, like, a lot of the time people don't ever sit down to think, like, the difference between things like marketing and advertising. Marketing is the activity or business of promoting or selling products or services, including market research and advertising. Advertising definition.
You should have just typed up marketing
What's the
versus
difference?
advertising.
Those
The
are the same
activity
thing.
of profession.
Producing
Oh, it's
advertisements.
the production.
So
production.
advertising is creative.
Oh, okay.
So often they talk about the difference between media and creative in the marketing world. So advertising is the creative. It's that ad,
Right,
and that's what I want to do. I'm passionate about that ad.
You like the
I like
whole
the
like
ad.
cinematography, photography,
Not
video,
necess- I like the antithesis of the message.
like creative direction.
I love the message.
The messaging. That's
Like-
branding, bro.
Yeah, but the idea, like that really got me because of the idea. So someone, it's LG, so it probably wasn't. Although there are a lot of horseshit LG ads, that to me felt like one person came up with this idea and it cut through all the other bullshit. Like, you know how a lot of these things feel like they're board decided these days? Like 98 people went through a focus group. That to me felt like that. You know what I mean, though? Yeah. That to me felt like that was someone's dream, and they like went in all shaky. Yeah. I'm in LG, and they like pitched their idea. I'd love to hear the actual story. You want to do that,
yeah.
Yeah, like I've got some ideas. Like I'm just about to get started on some very inappropriate ads for my business, which will probably break my business. Like,
but I love that
ideas,
risk that you like
about
to take.
Like an alcoholic that doesn't want to mow his lawns, but he wants to look at the lawns being done, and he just wants to get shit faced in the backyard every Saturday. Like stuff like you know what I mean? Like I want to take risks.
Yeah.
So the reason I have a business is so that I get to exercise.
Yeah.
That part, and the other things that I want to do are all related to that. Like now, podcasting is like a fixture of my life, and I want to build up this studio, and I want to have podcasts alongside mine. And I want to do like, I actually picture myself a bit of a documentarian. You know what I mean? Like doing documentary style things, like going to Bolivia and talking about car culture in Bolivia and stuff like that.
Damn.
So this is what I mean. Like my brain is like art, and it's just like exploding with all these ideas. And I want everything I do to be the distillation. I'm gonna Google the expression distillation because I keep saying it. No,
you're like,
if you distill something,
using it in the right context.
Distillation meaning the action of purifying a liquid by a process of heating or cooling. No, it's the purification. So my brain is mush and horse shit, and I'm distilling it in water, and I'm distilling it by putting it into a car documentary or a podcast that's special interest.
You made it work.
Or a gardening business.
The extraction of the essential meaning.
Yeah. The distillation of my brain.
Okay.
Or as I said 2 weeks ago, the distillation of my brain, because I was drunk. Anyway, so marketing, the two questions were why marketing, and is it a part of a bigger picture? Is it a part of a bigger picture?
I feel like marketing is one of those...
No, for you.
Yeah.
Is your business a part of a bigger picture for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to run a marketing business for the rest of your life, or have you got plans? Have you got dreams?
I haven't, honestly. I would probably see myself like having Blanc Studio for like the next 10 years, but I'm not, like, in business you shouldn't really be attached to your business in that sense. But that's what I believe in anyway. Like,
I always picture everything's always for sale.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like there has to be an exit strategy, you know?
I'm not building it to sell.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If it's forever, that's fine.
Yeah. That's fine. I feel like
Jim Penman's worth a lot of money. Jim's mowing.
Jim's mowing.
He's worth a fucking lot of money.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You can do well in a gardening business. It just happens to not be my passion.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm passionate about marketing. Blanc Studio has a very specific message, I guess. And I feel like there's longevity in it because every business needs marketing. You know,
absolutely.
Every business needs marketing. So I'm not worried about that. Hold on. What was your question?
Is it a part of a bigger picture? What are you going to do after? So if I said to you, hey Jane, I love Blanc Studio. Yeah, I'm just about to. I've got a CEO lined up for Smart Yards. I want to start my own marketing agency, but I kind of don't want to start from zero. I want to buy your business off you for $1.9 million.
Okay.
And you're like, what? If I offered you $1.9 million today, would you be like, that's a lot of money, or would you be like, nah, more?
Well, I know where my business is at the moment.
Right, 58 million. 58 million.
Yeah, 58 million is a lot.
Yeah, 58. I offer you 58 million.
That's a lot.
You're going to take it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I've just given you $58 million.
Yeah.
Now what? Like, what's next?
Fuck.
Like, is it a part of a bigger picture? Like, are you, like, do you want to do the cafe? Do you want to start a fucking pole dancing brand selling yogurt on the internet? Like, what do you want to do?
Someone's calling you.
No, it's were they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's okay. They can go to voicemail.
I haven't thought about what I want to do outside of Blanc Studio.
Yeah, that's all right.
Because there's so much that I want to do.
Yeah, I get
within
you.
Blanc
Man, I
Studio.
get you. I wrote a list of everything I wanted to do the other day.
Yeah.
It was 48 businesses.
Bruh.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm sure your brain's the same.
Mine's
I
the
actually,
same.
on the face of it, I've actually thought about this a little bit because I've known you coming on. Mm-hmm. We're very, very different. So you look at your Instagram and you look at
Don't
my
say.
Instagram. Yeah. But like, would you ever film a podcast in a shed? No, not your vibe. Yours would be like like you look at your house. It's like lovely, like a lot of like white and like minimalist shapes. But I actually think we're two sides of the same coin. I think you're uber female and I think I'm uber male. And I think we're very
That's
similar.
so true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like it's just the female distillation and the male distillation of like two very similar people, which is why I actually think I get along with you so well. Yeah. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
100%. We're just different styles, but like we have similar mindset.
Yeah. Which is why I asked you the question, because I was like, man, if you are actually anything like me, you probably have like 968 million different ideas.
No. Like, I will literally like, I have in the past sat down with myself randomly, like taken myself out to dinner on my own. At
Probably
fucking
the best fucking dinner you've ever had.
Yeah, at fucking
Great company. We had a lot
on
to talk
my own.
about.
Literally on my own, overlooking the Sydney Opera House at a 5-star.
Dude, how good is that little precinct down there?
It's
Oh
so
my
good.
god, yeah.
Like this, I went to this like seafood restaurant and I literally just like wrote down everything, like all the uncapped potential of what I could do with Blanc Studio. So right now, Blanc Studio is a social media content creation branding agency, and all of that is digital, obviously. And we perform a service for our clients, but that's literally only 1% of what I want to do.
What else do you want to do?
Mate, let me tell you.
I will let you tell me.
So, okay, maybe I should go back to explaining what Blanc is all about and where that name came from.
Please.
So, before I even decided I wanted to take my business like full time, I had this idea of like Blanc, which for someone, and probably you understand this as a fellow entrepreneur, has so many different ideas. I wanted to create a business that contain like all of my different passions, all of my different skill sets. At that time when I came up with the idea of Blanc Studio, it was a cafe. It was like a multidisciplinary space where it was like a coffee shop with a little bit of pastry, but then you could kind of like go up and like look at art. So it was like an art gallery cafe vibe. And then people could hire the space out to do events and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah. And then when I realized that Jane Collective Jane Collective didn't really, I guess, relate anymore, I was like, why don't I use Blanc Studio? Because that makes sense. I'm a marketing agency. My purpose as a marketing agency is literally to provide a blank canvas for business owners to be able to tell their story. So that's why I came up with this idea of like Blanc Studio. Like all businesses can come to me, and we take their ideas and we create something amazing with it, whether that be in creatives, on socials, and
That's
branding.
cool. I like that. That's clever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is the basis of Blanc Studio and what we do for socials and like marketing in general. But then, if you think about it, there's so many different ways to scale this idea of Blanc Studio. So my next big goal for Blanc Studio is to open up my marketing studio, which is basically a space. I'm going to call it House of Blanc, which is a headquarters.
That's cool.
House of Blanc.
That's cool.
A headquarters for office space, obviously, but it's also going to be like a studio. So photography, videography, podcast studio, where number one, I can use it for my own clients and my clients can come use the space, but also other people can rent it out, kind of thing. And then...
Are you going to get that address?
Sorry?
Are you going to get that office?
Yeah. It's...
No, the one that I've seen you post about.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah?
I'm not emotional. Yeah. We're manifesting this.
Yeah, for sure.
310 Turak Road.
310 Turak Road. I'm not, for the record, I'm not sure I'm about Toorak Road, South Yarra. I'm not sure I'm about manifesting, but I'm definitely about putting your shit out on wax, and then if it comes,
Look at it, it's so
if
beautiful.
it comes true, then you get to be like, oi,
I
went in this rinky-dink podcast in some dude's shed in Frankston, and I said it. This was 9 years ago I said this.
Holy shit. Yeah, I would love to have a space, something like this, where like, I don't know. I always picture this space. It's like, it's 3 stories, but I think the top story is not fully. Anyway, yeah, this picture that you're showing here, that's the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
So that would be like, oh my God, I always look at this on commercial real estate.
You like this.
It's so beautiful. Imagine Blanc Studio right on there. So 1st floor, if you click next, keep going. Yeah, here would be like a huge cyclorama wall where people can like shoot photography, videography. It would have like a space where people, like a change room, like a makeup area, and a little like, it's basically...
You said change room, and I literally thought like, oh, like where you can change your like child's shitty ass.
No.
I'm a dad now. It's
You're
all ruined.
such a dad.
It's all ruined, man.
But
today,
yeah, I guess it can be like that too.
I got changed 3 times today because every time I stood in front of the mirror, I was like, you just look like someone's dad. And then at the end, I literally was like, you look like someone's dad. And I was like, but there are no more clothes
just
left.
accept it.
There are no more clothes left.
So that would be like a space where people can... Okay, so the way that I think about this and the way that I justify it in my head is I can use it for my own clients and they can, rent out the space. However, I can also rent out the space for people to come in and just do their own thing, which means passive income. Are you having a beer?
Yeah, I was just desperate for a beer. Man, there's nothing better than having a beer and talking about, like, your future office.
I love it.
And then you were talking about the future office, like, man, I want a beer now.
Yeah. So that would be it. So the bottom floor would be like, yep, people can use it whenever. That's like an added revenue stream to Blanc Studio.
Do you want a beer?
No, I still have some of this. Thank you, though.
You don't seem like a beer drinker either.
I've never had beer in my
You've
life.
never had... Do you want a sip of that? This is Jane's first beer.
It's not bad.
Happens to be a nice beer.
It's not.
Okay.
Actually, I don't like it.
Okay. Well, there you go. Jane doesn't like beer. Blanc Studio, though.
If you click next,
Yes.
keep going.
I'm trying to get this off. No, it's not going to go away. Anyway.
Okay, this is the 2nd floor, and I just picture like an office space where it's like an open
I get it.
plan.
I get it.
The team's there, everyone's
Yeah.
vibing out. There's a little lounge area, and then on that end, there's gonna be like a boardroom where clients can come in and we talk about the business marketing strategy
to the back wall.
Yeah,
there.
like that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just would love a
Oh, there
space
you
like
go.
that. Like
In here?
there, I would build like a little
Is that-
boardroom.
Is that like kitchen?
Yeah, that's kitchenette area. Oh my god,
Oh,
mate!
what?
No thanks.
If you zoom
Say
in,
no
it's
thanks.
just like, oh, sorry, I'm deranged. So that's like
look how beautiful that is.
that's a bathroom there.
Yeah, that's the toilet.
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe here on the right set.
Like
yeah,
there.
like build like a.
like a glass.
Yeah.
A glass, but like it's like black framed.
Yes, like the steel framed.
Yeah,
kind of
and like lots of
offices.
little window, not little window, but like
Big windows,
like
like floor to
black,
ceiling
or
windows.
so you like one pane of glass.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
So that's
No.
how I envision Blanc
Yeah,
Studio
cool.
in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But we're there. I think I just need to nurture this whole online side of it
For sure.
because that is uncapped. Like the profit and the revenue that comes with an online business. And also, like right now, online business is the way to go for me because it gives me a lot of freedom in a sense where I can
It's free.
work wherever and it's free. There's no rent, there's no added capital, etc. In terms of like basically renovating the place and like getting furniture and shit like that. You know what I mean?
The owner of Core Projects used to not be in the office ever. He used to work from a cafe because he hated the office.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Core Projects is where I used to work, and they're like the 2nd or 3rd biggest like real estate off the plan sales company. So he like obviously wanted an office.
Yeah.
Got the office and was like, I want to work from a cafe.
I hope that doesn't happen to me because
Isn't it so funny?
no, but this is why I need to have
Yeah.
a reason for the office, hence the studio.
Uh-huh.
Because people need to be able to like rent that out, and that's like a form of like passive revenue income stream for the business. So that's the next 2 to 5 year goal for me.
It's cool.
But right now I want to nurture, number one, obviously I want to increase like my clientele base in the social media world, and also just build brand awareness, which means like building your credibility in the industry as well. And then I want to figure out ways to create like passive income based off Blanc Studio, whether that be through ebooks, online courses, because you do the work, you put in a lot of investment in like the creatives and doing all that time and knowledge, but that's uncapped revenue. Like you do that once and like you inject ads on it continuously, and then that's like consistent income for you. Like I know I make that sound like easy, but there's a lot harder work out there. You know what I mean?
Like, the model's always easy.
The
but,
model's
like, the
easy. The
execution's always
execution part,
fuck.
like I've been thinking about it the last 3 years,
Yeah.
and I still haven't done it. You know what I mean?
I get it. Man, whew, could you imagine starting a business that's like hard? And what I mean by that is like, I now run a business that's very easy. Like turn up with a lawnmower and push it.
Yeah,
It's hard.
it's
Like,
hard.
it's hard. You run a business that's easy. Harder than what I do now that I think about it. But like it's easy. Like market the product. But it's hard, yeah?
Yeah.
Could you imagine like being... So back to Gary V. I always hear about
Yo, mate.
Yeah, oh mate. Gary V. I'm still trying to remember what we were talking about with Gary V earlier.
Oh
It's gone.
my God, it's gone, mate.
It's gone. The guy who started Uber, Travis. Like there were laws against Uber.
Really?
There were he had to fight City Hall. That's hard. Like you starting a business that is illegal. Or like imagine like a cannabis startup
Yeah.
in Australia. Like imagine like, hey, we're gonna buy 19 acres in Tooradin.
That's
and
what
we're going
the sword
to-
guy does.
The sword man has marijuana. Good for him. But but like imagine having a business that's like hard to start.
Fuck.
Because I have one that's easy and it's hard.
We're
You
like
get what
our
I mean?
business is an easy start.
They're easy, but they're hard.
Yeah.
Like business is hard.
Yeah.
How much of hard business is because of government?
Fuck. Thank God I don't have that regulation.
But you have to pay GST and tax.
Yeah, that's
Like you have some
yeah.
regulation.
Yeah.
And like you have to pay people appropriately.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, I could make my employees' life so much easier if there was no government. No, like seriously. No, like
Expand.
have you ever looked at how much like for your employees? So I pay my staff, tax and super. Yeah, I could make their life so much easier if that went away. Like the hourly rate would be better. There'd be so
Yeah.
much more freedom.
Yeah.
And, like all this other horse shit that we have to do. Like I've got to have 2 different types of insurance legally.
Yeah.
If we didn't, if
You
they
have to have 2 insurances for your
Oh,
industry?
work safe.
Work safe. Fair enough.
Yeah, so
Fair
if
enough.
they cut their fucking arm off, which is fair enough. Like that's probably a bad example, and public liability. That's also a bad example. But like, there's so much regulation and oversight, and man,
What?
public holidays.
Oh,
Have you added it up?
shit.
Have you added it up?
No.
So people get 4 weeks off a year.
Yeah.
That's fine. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't get 4 like annual leave.
Yeah.
They get 6.5 weeks off
Damn.
because of public holidays.
I don't know. I feel like
I could just pay them so much more. You know what I mean?
true.
I could just pay, like, I could literally, so I pay my casual staff member $30 an hour. If there was none of this horse shit, I'd be like, yeah, 40? Mm-hmm. She could, like, literally, like, sail off into the fucking sunset, have a great life, but I have to pay her all this other horse shit, which means I have to take, like, whose pocket does it come out of? It's not coming out of my pocket.
Yeah.
I either have to charge my clients more
Yeah.
or pay her less.
Yeah.
And it's actually both.
Yes.
The government fucks everything. Do you want
It's
to know?
so true.
30% of every new home is government taxes. Every time, like, there's a townhouse or a block of land.
30%.
30%. So the median house price in this country is surely $750 now. 1/3 of it, $250,000, goes to the government. Madness. Fuck the government.
Government
Seriously.
funding the war.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
That's fucked, man. Yeah,
It's
I don't know. I
crazy.
feel like small businesses in Australia are not really like supported that much.
Definitely not supported.
Yeah, like I feel like
Are they
the
supported
bi-
elsewhere?
No, well, just feel like we're built up for like no success. Like I've seen that a lot in like the hospitality industry, especially.
Yes.
It's very hard to succeed.
Well,
because of the
I don't
government.
need support. I don't need support. What I need is for you to get the fuck out of the way.
It's the board of directors is Andy Pater, the ATO.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah. But like I think that the government are definitely much harder on small business than they are on big business.
Yeah.
It's so easy to succeed as a large business using tax breaks and incentives and just like having the ability to pay someone
Yeah.
who understands the tax code to
Yeah.
structure your business in a way
Yeah.
that when you're a young immigrant dad coming over, starting a cafe,
Yeah.
Raz.
Oh my
Raz.
god.
Raz. Yeah?
I forgot
Yeah.
about him.
Like that is the hardest situation I've ever heard of.
Shit.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
His situation was the hardest one.
Yeah. My god, I completely forgot about that. What do you even do? You literally like set
Do
up
what he
for-
did. Work 98 hours a week.
He literally had a business and worked
Yeah.
for a different restaurant.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That dude, like, he went hard.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Good on him.
Good on him.
Respect.
Yeah. Yeah, good on him. I never worked for him, so I don't know what he's like. But, like, externally, I'm sure there was some, like, weirdness going on. Like, with any... But, like, he would have been stressed as a motherfucker.
Yeah, I can imagine now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like, man. And the government were not helping him.
Oh
They were
my
getting in his
God.
way.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he looked at his balance sheet every week and went, the amount of fucking money that goes to just horse shit, I could run a real business here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they're doing well.
Are they still owning it?
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure Mon said that they've sold it like ages ago. Or
Good
my
on 'em.
my parents
Good on
told
'em.
me that they sold it ages
Good
ago.
on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Business is hard.
Business is
Why
hard.
why do we do this? Why do you what drives you to do your business, Andy?
Why? Because I don't think I have an option. Do you think you have an option?
No.
No. What are you going to work for someone? I've worked for someone before.
I'm
To
sorry.
have your financial destiny controlled by some fuckwit that doesn't even know how to tie his own shoelaces? No. I'm not interested. Seriously. If my pay is coming from you and you're that stupid, that means I'm earning 10% of what your brain can do. And I'd rather take on the risk. Yeah?
Yes.
Sure, like, you've worked for some people before who, like, you could do better. Yeah? And you're like, I would rather take on the risk and be in charge of my own financial destiny. So there's that, and then there's, like, all this other stuff of, like, I'm going to sound like Andrew Tate here, but, like, get out of the Matrix. Yeah?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's some weirdness. Definitely this, and for the first time ever, I feel like it's, like, socially appropriate to talk about the weirdness. Like, there's some weirdness going on with, like, government overreach and, like, is our food poisoned? And, like, it's weird, yeah? It's weird. And
Is
I
the
think the
food
only,
poisoned?
way to get out of it is, like, don't go to a cubicle every day and type in admin.
Yes.
Like, instead, go and start a business and try your hardest to be in charge of your financial destiny. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, and I was very pessimistic because I'd had a lot to drink. The same podcast.
Fair enough.
But we spoke about this, and we said, like, is there a way out? Like seriously, is there a way out? And what I've come to realize is I'm not sure there is a way out, but there is a way above. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Like, the electricity company will always want money.
Okay, yeah.
And the government will always want GST money, and they'll always want tax money. There's no way out.
Yeah.
There's no way out unless you just work out this way that you can be self-sufficient and hunt and not require, like, you can't be financially free.
Yeah.
Everyone always talks about, I want to be financially free by 35. That doesn't exist. To be financially free, that means no income, no outcome. But what you can do is rise above. And I think that the only way that is going to happen for you is if you're an employee with a clever investment strategy or an employer who breaks their back.
Yeah.
Her or his back. Like you do. Yeah? You break your back. Yeah?
Proper.
Yeah, legit. Like, you work fucking hard.
Yeah.
And you're trying to put yourself on the map and create a real business that has real income and one day might sell for something, or one day you can appoint a CEO and do the next.
Yes.
And follow your passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree to all of that.
Yeah,
Cheers.
100%. Yeah, cheers, hey?
Slay.
Have I not brought anything up that you want to talk about?
I feel like we've spoken about a lot of things.
Certainly have. We've gone hard. We've done
How
2
many
hours
hours?
20.
2 hours 20.
There was a pee break in the middle.
So
for
we've
5
done
minutes.
like 2 hours of talking, basically.
We certainly have.
Well, there you go.
No, we've done 2, probably, and yeah, when we had the live at the start for 10, 15, so
Yeah.
you're right, probably about 2 hours. 2 hours is pretty good innings.
Yeah, nice.
How was it? So a lot of people get really, really nervous at the start, and they're like, oh, I don't know. Like,
I think I was just like, I'm a bit of an overthinker, and like, I have a bit of perfectionism in my brain, but I think like you've just made the environment just so chill and conversational, basically.
The idea is it's supposed to be like a super chill in here. Like, it's a shed in France.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we're going to have a couple of drinks. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, people come on here and smoke.
Yeah.
I need to get an ashtray, actually. I wish someone put a cigarette on the table the other day. But, like, the idea is, like, it's supposed to be real chill and you just get to, like, do your thing.
Yeah, no, I loved it. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Have you got anything you'd like to plug? Like, your business?
Well, if y'all want to follow my marketing agency, it is a branding social media agency. It's on Instagram, blankstudio.au, and our website is, blankstudio.au if you want to have a sus, and if all of you business owners need some help when it comes to anything branding related, social media related, or if you need any sort of content, you can reach out to me, and yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
you.
I've had a lot of fun.
Oh, that was so cool.
It was really, really good.
Thank
wasn't
you.
it? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And if you didn't, well, keep your mouth shut.
We don't need to hear about it.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun.
Oh,
Did you have fun?
fun.
That's good.
I want to do more.